Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Wednesday, June 4th, 2019. Let me check what time the baseball games start today. Yeah, it's Wednesday. They start early. Okay, so the games start in an hour. We'll do the review real quick. We'll get to today's games. Again, got a hunch the Nationals are going to win both of this two-game series and get to 13-7 all time. That big Washington, D.C. number. Washington's a big favorite today, so anyway, let's review yesterday, get to today's game, and I want to talk about a couple other things too that I saw in the news. So it was a pretty good day yesterday. Not flawless, but not bad. We like the Nationals. They had a good riddle yesterday. They took care of business. Expecting the Braves to win 2 out of the 3 in this series and get to 34 because Pirates is 34. So I'm guessing they're going to split the next 2 games. I thought the Pirates had a decent shot yesterday because it was their 59th game and they could have stayed on the 17 home losses, 59-17 prime. Didn't work out that way. Blue Jays, I liked them a lot yesterday. They had the date numerology. They had the Yankees staying on 17 away wins in their 59th game. That's the thing about these things, that they're consistent, but they're not perfect. It happens here with the Yankees. It didn't happen here with the Pirates. But the difference between these 2 games is the Blue Jays were also going for a win where they had the date numerology. And the other nice thing about the Blue Jays is it was a real good payout. The Indians and Twins, like I said, I might wait and see yesterday because the Indians had a narrative. I did want to see the Twins win that. Well, I guess they probably wouldn't have been the greatest payout anyway, but I didn't want to see the Twins win because it would have set up a really nice narrative today. But the Indians, they had that riddle yesterday. They had a 22 on the board for themselves. They got it done. The Giants and Mets was a bit iffy. I am thinking the Giants are probably going to lose the rest of this games in the series and stay on 25 wins. We'll talk about that. The Tigers yesterday, the guy who called in and said, man, every team that has a chance to become 19-8 isn't. So I'm betting the Tigers. I think he did yesterday and he won. And I said it was a possible philosophy. So, it seems a little bit like a funny way to go about things. But, I mean, he did make a good point. The 19-8s kept not coming through. And there it is again. It didn't come through. So I personally wanted to see the Tigers win because then today they could have been playing for their 23rd win on the 23 date, and I would have felt real confident about that. But yeah, his reasoning worked out, so I think he got a big win there. Remember yesterday, the Marlins had a great surface level riddle to win. 22nd win on the 22 date, keeping the Brewers at 18 wins in their 61st game, 61 the 18th prime. Sometimes it's just right on the surface. Man, they killed him too, 16-0. I mean, come on. But that Brewers pitcher, the reason that I didn't feel safe with going with the surface level riddle is because the Brewers pitcher's riddle was so nice. I mean, he had the most perfect riddle ever to pick up his 49th win on the 49th day, but he didn't do it. And again, that goes back to what I often say. The date numerology and the primes, they typically trump the pitcher narratives, but man, that pitcher narrative was so good yesterday. So Red Sox and Royals, they both had a shot at it yesterday. Red Sox didn't pay much. Royals weren't worth the risk. So no surprises there. We talked about how the Orioles could win 2 in a row or lose 2 in a row. They have a shot to win 2 in a row today. We'll get to that. So I was thinking that was the less likely narrative than winning 2 in a row. But now that they won 1, could happen. The Rockies had a great riddle to beat the Cubs yesterday. The line, though, was scaring me. The line just seemed like it was, too much of a payout for the Rockies to win. I saw that in Vegas, the money was 40-some% for the Rockies, 50-some% for the Cubs. So it wasn't like a terribly lopsided spread, but had the Rockies come through, they would have had to pay out more because of what the line was. They didn't have to pay out much to those Cubs bettors, What they have to lay, they had to lay what, 230 to get 100. So, yeah, the Rockies riddle was awesome, but the line just didn't feel right. So not surprised there. The Reds had the better riddle yesterday. The Cardinals became 2-2 against the Reds at home, and it made sense for that Reds pitcher to get to 6-1. So we like that. The Dodgers through Ryu had a good riddle yesterday. They got it done. Really liked the Athletics yesterday. They got it done. Should have stuck with my original thought on the Phillies and Padres. I got cold feet and just didn't even make a call in the game, but I should have stuck with that initial thought, man. Usually the initial thought is the right one. I said if the Padres won game 1, the Phillies should win game 2, and that's what happened. Should have stuck with that. And then the Astros, they did have the better riddle, I thought, yesterday. Plus the Mariners, even when they have a riddle, can't win. Got a nice little prime number score, 11-5, 11 the fifth prime. So I think the Mariners were up in that game and blew it. So anyway, that was yesterday. Today we got baseball, basketball, and the PGA Tour. I did put up the notes for the PGA Tour. If you saw that this morning, they're the post before the live stream. If you scroll down the Patreon page. But since our first game, oh, hold on. Before I get to that first baseball game, I just want to talk about this death yesterday. Old man died, former Syracuse National basketball player. The Syracuse Nationals are now the Philadelphia 76ers. And, you know, right now we got the Warriors in the finals who are originally from Philadelphia. Some things jumped out when I saw this man's death. May 13th, 13/5, like 135. That's the big Philadelphia number, 135. The Warriors are currently 13-5 in this year's playoffs. And the day this man died, June 4, 2019, a date with 49 numerology, Warriors 49. He died 22 days after his birthday. Basketball's 22, Oakland's 22. The series is going back to Oakland. He died on 4/6, like 46. Raptors is 46. Del Curry's 46. He died at age 97. No one would ever question the death of a 97-year-old, but that is the 25th prime number. Finals equals 25. Death equals 25 and 97. And then his name, William Gaber, 122, like Golden State. He was known as Billy the Bullet. That was his nickname in his playing days. Nicknames 57 and 213, like the NBA Finals, 78, like NBA Finals. So just wanted to document that. I don't think his death in the time of the finals is any accident. And later we'll go over these golf notes. We'll finish up. The golf tournament starts tomorrow. It's the Canadian Open. There's a few things that really jump out about some of the favorites. And we learned in the last tournament, we really have to pay attention to the key word because every single day, the leader of the tournament had a connection to the word memorial. Last week's tournament was the memorial tournament. Okay, so we'll come back to that. I'm going to close this for now. Why do I have two? Okay. So let me get the notes up here for today. Okie dokie. Oh, I'm just trying to make this window bigger. Or maybe that's a good size, actually. Okay, so today is the 233rd day of the NBA season. For the record, that's the 13th Fibonacci number. It's also the 51st prime number. For the MLB season, it's the 78th day. It's the 70th day for most teams because most teams started March 28th, 8 days later. Mariners started March 20th against Oakland. The date numerology today, 50, 23. That's going to be a real big one, I think, 23 today. Lesser date numerology is 30. 6 plus 5 is 11. With regards to it being the 5th, 11 is the 5th prime number, so 11s could play today. Again, I'm keeping track of the Gemini count, and, 2 days ago was the first day we ever kept track. It was the 14th day of Gemini, and there really was quite a bit of 14 on the board, even though there wasn't that many games. Again, Blues got their 14th playoff win. You had that big 14 riddle in the Diamondbacks and Dodgers game, there was something else. Yesterday, it was the 15th day of Gemini. There was one baseball game that was clearly aligned around the number 15. That was the Athletics and Angels game. So today's the 16th day of Gemini, also leaving 16 days remaining in Gemini. So pay attention to 16s if they come up. For example, the Diamondbacks could fall to 1-6 against the Dodgers today. Should say MLB here. Okay. So first game starts early. The one riddle on the board for the White Sox is picking up their 30th win on the lesser date numerology at 30. However, it's their 61st game, and they can pick up their 18th away loss. And I think that's what will probably happen. Again, I do like the Nationals winning yesterday's game and today's game. We got yesterday's right, because they can get to 13-7 versus the White Sox. Washington, D.C.'s 137. 137 is the 33rd prime. Nationals equals 33. And you know what else? I'll make this point too. Oh, I guess I already did. If the Nationals win today, they'll be 28-33. Remember, there's only two numbers when you write out with the alphabetic order that sum to 156. They are 28-33. And today is the 156th day of the year. When you write out 28, 156, when you write out 33, 156, 156th day of the year today. I guess just keeping track of the Gemini thing, if the Nationals lost, they would pick up their 16th home loss. I'm still not ready to make any outright calls based on this. It's only day 3 of keeping track of this, but the reason we're doing it is just to pick up things. If I do see the Nationals get that 16th home loss, I'll be like, okay, maybe that's that Gemini day count, and I need to be zeroing in on that more. But just going off what we traditionally do, you know, the more traditional riddles, 61st game, 18th prime, the connection to the city. I do like the Nationals. So I'm taking the Nationals again today. Yeah, there's nothing else that really jumped out to me about that game. Okay, the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. Something that could go against the Dodgers today is Maeda could get his 30th career loss. Today has the lesser date numerology, and I have seen that correspond with pitcher records a number of times this year, even when it's not at the beginning of the month. So it seems that the lesser date numerology plays pretty often with the pitching records. Not always, but enough to take notice. The Diamondbacks could also stay on 30 wins today. The 30 could go against them in that way. And I do prefer team records to pitcher records. The Diamondbacks' next loss at home to the Dodgers is 99. Arizona Diamondbacks is 99. Doesn't have to come today, but does stand out. Remember, when you write out 13, it equals 99. LA's 13. D-backs is 13. The Diamondbacks are 1-5 versus the Dodgers this year. If they lost, they'd be 1-6. Los Angeles is 53, the 16th prime. I'm going to make a note about that. Okay. So the riddle's not nearly as good today as it was yesterday. I felt better about the Dodgers yesterday than I do today. But I probably still give them the edge. So they're a big favorite, though. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that game today. There's better games. Okay, Arrieta and Quantrill. Oh, we're taking a call here. Caller.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Hey,
I got a couple things, but all right, starting off with the okay, you just left the Dodgers game. So this is what I'm observing. With that if Dodgers win today, they can get their 19th away win and they stay at 19 home losses. But what I'm observing is, like, the White Sox game, okay, it's their 30th away game. And it's only like 3 teams that can do this. Every team don't have the parallel respondents to it, but like the White Sox, notice it's their 30th away game and they can get their 30th win.
Right, I see that.
So, and somebody did it last night. So when you start doing the home and away records, if you can, just start like adding up the away games. Like Texas and Baltimore did it last night. Texas was in their 30th home game, and then they stayed at 30 wins.
I see.
So that's something that's I've been looking at that, and that's something to definitely keep an eye on. Another thing is the Dodgers game and the other game come on at 3:40. So I'm noticing bats can get their 17th away loss, and that's like the 7th prime. So I noticed, like, if they playing at 3:40, if you break that down at 7, and if you do the West Coast side, which is 12:40, you break 1, 2, 4 down, you still get your 7.
Sure. So
I'm seeing the first 2 games they can get the 17th loss, and they playing at 3:40, which is 7. So that's the 2 the observations I just wanted to make.
You know, you're making good observations, and I've actually been wondering about that too. That I've been asking myself. I haven't noticed a consistent pattern personally, but I have been keeping an eye on that 30th home game and going for the 30th win or 30th loss. It does seem to come through. I'm not sure if it's consistent one way more or the other way, but I have been wondering about it myself. So I do see the point you made about yesterday's game, and if the White Sox did win today, that would be one to pencil home. It does seem that the prime number relationship definitely comes through more often than not, and that's the one that really catches my eye, though, with the White Sox today, just the fact they get that 18th away loss in their 61st game. So, oh, shoot, my caller dropped. You can call me back. I don't know why the call dropped. But, yeah, they're in the playoffs with baseball. The start times are so crucial, and sometimes when you see those really funky start times, you'll notice how they line up with the numbers in the game. So he was saying 3:40 on the East Coast. This is a West Coast game. It's also 12:40. So it'll start 1 + 2 + 4 is 7. So he was just saying that 17 is the 7th prime. Diamondbacks could get that 17th home loss. You know, playing with the numerology, though, you could also make an argument that the Dodgers could stay on 43 wins because it breaks down to 7. But yeah, I'll observe those things. I'll keep an eye on it. Good points. Let me see here. Okay, this Phillies-Padres game. So yesterday was the 61st game, and the Phillies did win. Remember, Philadelphia 61. That's a big number with them. I noticed Arrieta with a win today would be 16-16. And again, I'm not making any calls based on the astrology part yet, but again, it is the 16th day of Gemini, leaving 16 days remaining. So that's kind of interesting. Caller?
What's up, Zach? Hey, I just want to make a point again. It's like the 4th, 5th time it'll happen with the me and you foreshadowing the pictures, and it's been correct.
Okay. Oh, you're talking about how yesterday, what's-his-face could stay on 67 wins, and he's playing the Cleveland Indians 67 next.
Yeah, it's like the 5th time it'll happen. So.
You got one today?
No, I'm just telling. I thought you would start doing it. Yeah, because I'm working, so I can't really get into it like I want to. I just saw it on surface, and when I was doing it with you yesterday, I just did it because I see every time it happens. It's like if we foreshadow the pictures, it takes you to the money, and it goes back to what you said. That's why sometimes, Zach, they don't give the pictures those wins, so the riddle will be perfect for that one game. Like say, for instance, the dude the other day he supposed to got the win because the Yankees won that one time the week before, but he didn't get the win. Well, they did that because it's gonna fit towards the Cleveland Indians. So I get it now. I
see. Yeah. Great observation.
If that makes sense. And then Arrieta today's 6-5. Philadelphia goes 65. So I like Arrieta to go 6-5.
Okay, that is a really great thought right there. That makes a lot of sense. That's a big number with Philly. Just like how yesterday was a 65 riddle with him. The other point I was going to make is this morning CNN's front page is this headline. I don't know if you can see my screen, but it says 3 Americans die in 5 days in Dominican Republic. Today's the 5th, 5's the 3rd prime. This pitcher for the Padres, he is making his 5th career start today, and he could get his 3rd loss. So,
and then another thing, Zach, like yesterday with the Brewers game, and I'm punching myself in the face because I saw it. Milwaukee equals 37. 37 is the 12th prime. They got a 12th loss. So it's like, remember I told you that last week with them staying at that place? Remember? So Milwaukee equals 37. You knew they was going to get their 12th loss because Milwaukee equals 37, 12th prime.
Well, they didn't have to get it yesterday, though.
Well, yeah, because today they playing there again.
So let's say they won yesterday. Today they could get the 12th loss.
No, they got the 12th loss already.
But I'm just saying that because they can always get that 12th loss in Milwaukee because it makes sense. Why did it have to come yesterday?
Because they're gonna be in Milwaukee again. So they always give it to them that day. So when they're in Milwaukee again, so the 37 equals 12 prime. So it's a tribute to the city that they're playing in.
But in a series where you play multiple games in the same city, I don't understand why necessarily they would have had to get that yesterday, because yesterday didn't have 37 or 12 date numerology.
Well, they don't have to because it's the city, Zach. Milwaukee equals 37.
Right.
So 37.
I get that. I get that part, but I'm just saying why? I mean, obviously they're going to get that at some point. Why did it have to come yesterday?
I don't know, man. That's the riddle I've been seeing, man. You know. I just point things out. You know, I'm not trying to argue with you. I want us all to win and get on the same page, man.
Well, the one thing that was right on the surface was the Marlins picking up their 22nd win on the 22 day, and the Brewers getting a loss, staying at 18 home wins in their 61st game. So that was there.
Right. And then the riddle today, the riddle that you said that you liked it, but they lost. What team that was? They 23-9. They got 23 losses and 9 away or home losses. So they're gonna stay there today because 23 is the 9th prime.
Oh, you're talking about the Tigers in Tampa Bay.
Yep. So you like the Tampa Bay yesterday, but you're gonna win today because they're gonna stay on 23-9.
Well, I wasn't crazy about Tampa Bay yesterday. I was hoping they were going to win though, because today would have set up the 23 riddle perfect.
Yeah, which you're right about. Yeah. And then I like. Well, I don't know. I'm waiting to do. I really wish you would do basketball first, but.
Well, the baseball games start earlier.
Yeah, I know.
Well, here we've done the early games already. So, what do you want to say something about basketball real quick?
I want to listen to you first because I'm driving to work. So once I listen, then I could go review it. And that's why I call you sometimes. I'll hang up and then go in and look at my numbers, and then I call you or what I see. Well,
here's the two thoughts. I have a strong feeling again they're going to split. The one narrative for the Warriors to win in Game 5 is, again, that would keep them at 21 playoff games played in the 73rd NBA season. 73, the 21st prime, but I'm struggling with that because I really do think that going to Father's Day with the whole Daryl Curry thing makes too much sense. But if the Raptors didn't win another game in Toronto, they'd stay at 41 wins for the season, and Golden State's 41, so is Oakland. But I am thinking it's most likely they're going to split these games again in Oakland so that the Warriors can be 7-3 at home in the 73rd NBA season. If that's going to happen, I mean, today could be the day that Toronto gets one because Thompson's going to be out. And last I checked, Durant's probably not playing. So I'll check that update just to see if there's any new news. But
Clay and Durant's not playing. Clay Thompson and Durant not playing.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's kind of the narrative. But it is all about Steph Curry. I mean, he could come out and score 7. Oh, by the way, last game was Steph Curry's 108th career playoff game. That, Oracle 108, Golden State Warriors 108. Today's Kawhi Leonard's 108th playoff game. But so maybe Kawhi Leonard blows up in Oracle Arena too. That's the other thing. I'm a little bit torn on today's game. If the Warriors win, they do become 7-2 at home, and Toronto's 72. So that kind of makes sense. If they lost, they'd be 6-3. Toronto's 36 in reduction. I'm not crazy about today's game. So
when the next time they play? Friday?
Let me see. They play again. Yep, June 7th, Friday.
Yeah, Friday equals 63.
So they could come in 6-3. Yeah, that's a good point.
So I'm gonna wait till you do the full thing, man. But I'm gonna call in. I'm gonna try to stay in touch and call in like when you do that game, because I want you to go fully through it. Then I could, like you said, once you talk about it, things pop up in my head.
Okay, well, it's coming up.
Yeah, and don't forget today's 6-5 too. Philadelphia equals 65. Original team, Philadelphia Warriors.
Yeah, that's another good thought. That's another good thought. All right, man.
All right, boss,
good work.
man. I'm gonna listen to you.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so again, this early game, the thing about liking Washington is they don't pay a lot today, and there is a slight risk the White Sox could pull it out because of that 30th win on the 30 date. So I don't know if it's worth betting on it. Again, it's not a great payout, but I still do think they're going to win. Dodgers are a pretty big favorite today. No overwhelming riddle there. So caller just did make a good point about Philadelphia, it being 6-5, and Arrieta can get to 6-5. I was sleeping on that this morning. I'm glad he saw that. I'm always talking about Philadelphia's 65, and somehow I missed that in Arrieta's record. So Arrieta could become 6-5 today. He could also become 5-6. That's what we've noticed about baseball, is just how reading the numbers in reverse seems to be the same as reading them forward with some of these riddles. But to me, the 65 still just makes a little bit more sense. Philadelphia equals 65. It was established on the day, leaving 65 days left in the year. And that 16-16 thing. Again, I'm not making calls based on the astrology count yet, but it is very interesting that today is the 16th day of Gemini, leaving 16 more days remaining in the astrological period. So, and then also Quantrill, he's making sense to me to get that third loss today in his 5th career start. 5 the third prime. Look at CNN's front page this morning on the 5th. 3 Americans die in 5 days. Our prime numbers on the 5th. By the way, Dominican equals 53. And the latest story is that a Pennsylvania woman, Pennsylvania's 53. So news by the numbers, sports by the numbers. And hey, speaking of Pennsylvania, I guess we're talking about Philadelphia, aren't we? So maybe it makes sense for Quantrill to get his 3rd loss in his 5th start against a Pennsylvania team. You know how yesterday I was talking about synagogue? You know how if you watch yesterday's live stream, you probably heard me talking about synagogue in Philadelphia. Now that they're 114 and 129, I'm just like, oh, duh. Synagogue's 114 and 129. And the one concern there is if they won, if Padres won, they'd be 115 and 129. Philadelphia's 115, Synagogue's 129. Again, you got the verse from Revelation about the Church of Philadelphia and the Synagogue of Satan. So the synagogue riddle was right there, though. I'm telling you, as abstract as that might seem, the synagogue Philadelphia stuff plays. Go back and see what we did with the playoffs with the Warriors or not Warriors, 76ers in Brooklyn, that series. Okay. One other thing that could possibly go in the favor of the Padres is staying on 30 losses on the 30-day. So Philadelphia's got the 115 line. I still got to give the edge to Philadelphia. The Arrieta 6-5 riddle on June 5th. I gotta go that way. The Braves and the Pirates. Again, I am expecting. Okay, let me make sure that this is a 3-game series. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. So I think they're going to split these last 2 games. I think the Braves finish on 34 wins against the Pirates. Pirates 34. So one strategy is you could wait and see today and then have a pretty good pick tomorrow, I would say. Be a strong pick tomorrow because it should go the opposite of whoever wins today. I did notice that if Musgrove lost, he's 3-6 on the season. If he lost today, he would be 3-7, and Atlanta Braves is 37 in the most Pierce cipher. So that makes a bit of sense. He could get his 16th loss today with Pittsburgh on this 16th day of Gemini. Again, I don't want to make calls with that, but I'm just documenting it. It could end up being a great clue for us going forward. We'll know here as we continue to follow it. The Braves can also get their 18th away win in their 61st game. So that's another big one for the Braves. Pirates are 1-6 versus the Braves this year. So, I just thought about something. Braves equals 59, 17th prime. So they could become 1-7, and then maybe tomorrow they bounce back. And I think if the Pirates lose today, they will win tomorrow. But the Braves definitely got the better riddle today. Musgrove being 3-7 against the Atlanta Braves makes a ton of sense, and we know how the primes often come through. So 18th away win in the 61st game, it's right there. And I don't know if I was sleeping on that yesterday. I might have slept on that because yesterday I saw how the Pirates could stay on 17 home losses in their 59th game. Should have been looking at that. How if the Braves won 2, they could have got to 18. Okay, maybe we did, because I remember I was kind of iffy on this game. I was like, they're gonna win 2. Yeah, so, but yeah, got to go with the Braves today. Okie dokie. So, you know what I'm going to say about this Blue Jays-Yankees game, right? I said if the Blue Jays won yesterday, I really like them to win today. Because, again, Blue Jays is 23. You got the 23-date numerology. By winning today, they get that 23rd win. That's the 9th prime. And that will snap the Yankees' series win streak at 9. They've won 9 series in a row. League best. And, God, I wish I could remember what the stat was that they put on the screen. I was at my dad's house, so I was talking a lot while the game was going on, but it was, I forget when they said the last time they'd won 9 series in a row. I wish I could remember that. So anyway, I'm going the Blue Jays today. Again, it makes sense for the Blue Jays to win one game in this, lose one game in this series. New York's 39, so I like them being 23-39 by the end of the series. Just to play devil's advocate, the only thing I could see going for the Yankees today is staying on 9 away losses on the 23-date, 23 the 9th prime. There is that possibility. If that did happen, I would probably like the Blue Jays to win tomorrow, because I see them leaving the series on 39 losses, that big old New York number. James Paxton, if he loses today, he's 3-3. New York's 33. That happened to the Mets pitcher yesterday. We talked about that possibility. Bumgarner, he did well against the Mets. And oh yeah, that's the other thing. Tomorrow is the Yankees' 61st game of the season. If they lose today, they can pick up their 18th away win tomorrow in their 61st game. So I'm taking the Blue Jays again. I'm riding the Blue Jays. Okay. The Twins and the Indians. Man, I really wanted the Twins to win yesterday, because it would have set up a great riddle today, but it wow, Cleveland's even bigger. Cleveland was a favorite yesterday too. Okay. I see something I didn't write down. Oh, I did write it down. Okay. So Carrasco, between the two pitchers, nothing's really jumping out to me about Martin Perez. His next career loss is 52. Minnesota's 52. He doesn't have to get it today. In a way, it would probably make more sense for him to get 52 in Minnesota. But Carrasco, what stands out about him is he's 4-6 on the season. If he won today, he'd be 5-6 on June 5th. 5-6. If he lost, he'd be 4-7. Indians is 47. And you know what else is 47? Minnesota. Minnesota's 47 if you use the rule for S. Minnesota's 38, most Pierce cipher, +9 for S, 47. The These teams are 2-2 against each other this year, which isn't helpful. We do have the 23 date, but either team could become 2-3. Cleveland's 30-30 on the 33 date. Cleveland equals 33, so it can make sense why they're there. Check something real quick. Yeah. I think whoever wins today wins tomorrow too. Twins equals 32. Whoever wins today probably wins tomorrow. And the reason I'm saying that is because if the Indians win today, they get to 31 wins. They could get to 32 tomorrow. If they lose today, they could get, their 32nd loss tomorrow against the Twins. So yeah, I know something else I can check. Sometimes I forget to check these field names. Progressive Field, Cleveland, Ohio. Okay. Yeah, I'm not thrilled about this game. But I do think whoever wins today does win tomorrow. Caller?
Yeah, what's going on, Zach? I like the Blue Jays too. I had the Blue Jays yesterday, like you said, and they came through, so I think there's a good chance that comes through again today. But the only one that I didn't end up winning yesterday because I took the Rockies on the same ticket and they didn't come through. I'm not sure, but the Rockies looked good yesterday. I'm not sure what happened with that though.
It was that line, because it was just usually when the line gets that big, when the line gets above 200, I realize the riddle, it probably comes through at like 30% of the time when it's above 200. So.
Okay. Is it because of the payout was so good?
I think that's the reason why they don't want to pay out. It had the Rockies won last night, they would have been paying out more in Vegas. That's for sure. So.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things going on. Even the Nationals was down 5-0, and they came back, and I was like, okay, wow, that rarely happens in baseball. Rarely.
No, back in the day that was rare, but these days I would say it's pretty common, man. They've made the games way different now because they want people to watch. And look at how many games change big time in the ninth inning because they want people to watch until the end. Baseball's getting a lot more gimmicky.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because I have a buddy. Because we were debating over that White Sox game. They were up 5 when the White Sox were 5-0. We have a mobile betting app, so he put 130 in play on the White Sox to keep beating the Nationals. And I told him, I said, bro, you should really take the Nationals. He said, no, like they're not going to come back, and he ended up losing his money. He losing $150 on.
He would have won a ton if he put that on the Nationals.
I told him to put it on the Nationals. They were like plus 600 or something like that, something crazy like that in play, and I was like, he didn't do it, and I was like, wow.
He would have won huge if he put that on the Nationals. See, that's the beauty of this knowledge, because you don't even have to make a big bet. If a team has a good riddle and they get down in a hole 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 gets pretty nerve-wracking, but I mean, if they have a good riddle, you can bet a little bit of money. Like exactly, if he would have put $10 down on the Nationals when they were down 5-0, he would have won $60.
Yeah, exactly. And he put 130 the other way, and it was like, and the White Sox were like minus something, and compared to like plus 600, and I'm like, yeah, I tried to tell him, but he was like, and he called me like, bro, you were right, man. How did you know? Whoopie woo, and and we already know why we know. It's because of the code, obviously, but yeah.
But that is the real beauty of this knowledge. For all of you who gamble online in the real time, if you have a team that has a strong riddle and they get down early, man, you could put a few bucks down on them and make a whole bunch off it. You could pay for 2 years worth of Patreon.
Man, I'm telling you.
So,
but yeah, and then also that Indians game, you called that one too. Like you said, the riddle lines up better for the Twins, but you said because the Indians were favored, that kind of scared you off, and you're right about that too. That kind of got better because it's like the Twins are the best team in the got the best record in the major league, and they're underdogs against the Indians. Kind of weird.
But the thing is, the Indians are a good team. They're just not playing as well as they should this year, and it's still early in the season. A lot could change. So,
Right, but I mean, if you just go based off like how the teams were playing, you would think that the Twins would actually be favored in that game, but they weren't for some reason.
Well, the Indians had a few riddles yesterday, and I want to check one more thing. Bieber got the win. See, Bieber became 5-2 against Minnesota, and Minnesota's 52. That's a big Minnesota number. So.
Okay. So basically, the Blue Jays are locked in for today. And who else was it yesterday? You said if they won or lost, could pick up a win today. What other team was that? I can't remember.
Let me think. I'm going through the games. Oh, I was talking about the Rays-Tigers game because I wanted to see the Tigers lose yesterday because today it would have set up a great riddle, but they won yesterday, so it knocked that out.
Okay, yeah. So basically, the Blue Jays is pretty much the one I'm talking in for today, and then the Tigers did win because there was a caller that came calling yesterday and said the Tigers would win, and they did end up winning yesterday.
Right, because he was saying that nobody's getting to 19-8. Everybody who has a chance at that is losing. And I said that is a good point. That is a good point, and it happened again. So he was right to go with that riddle.
Yeah, okay, I see that. So that 19-8 is losing right now.
Every time, like seemingly almost every time, it is not hitting. So that's what he went with.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna look out for that. What else? And then the Mets and the Blues in too. They came back and won, but they didn't lose in that game. The Mets
lost yesterday to the Giants. Yep. Bumgarner stayed perfect against the Mets for his career, and look at the score, 3-9. You get a big, nice New York score there. So.
Okay. So I got to think about the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays were pretty heavy underdogs again. Do you think that would affect the outcome of this, or you think that would still come through?
The Blue Jays being heavy underdogs?
Yeah, the Blue Jays are plus 220 today. No.
What the line was about the same yesterday, wasn't it?
You said what? The line wasn't as big yesterday. The line was only at it was a little bit below 200 yesterday. A little bit below 200.
Okay, the Yankees line's the same as yesterday, so the Blue Jays line's up today.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, when it gets too much above 200, it doesn't come through that often. But even still, so if you won yesterday, to make sure you don't bet all your winnings from yesterday, I just bet a percentage of it. But I still like the Blue Jays today because they got a good riddle. And if the Blue Jays did lose today, I'd probably take another shot at them yesterday because them finishing this series on 39 losses against New York makes a lot of sense. But today would be the more logical day for them to win. That's for sure.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And just one more thing. So when you look at these games, do you have another thing you look at where it shows you the money on the games? Because that's important.
Do you use the pregame website that I link?
No. So there's a pregame website that shows you this? That shows you how much money's on the game?
Yeah, I link it in the description of almost every video. But do it closer to game time because a lot can change between now and the morning and game time. So always look at it, when you're ready to place your bet as close to game time as possible. So.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's a big key right there because usually sometimes when the money's so good on one team, there's no chance that this team could win when the money's so heavy on this other team. And
you got to think about it logically too. Like for example, yesterday there was more money on the Cubs than there was on the Rockies, not by a large margin, but the thing was, even though it was close to even, by the Cubs winning, the Vegas didn't have to pay out very much to the people who bet on the Cubs. They were a huge favorite, so that was a small payout. Had the Rockies won, they would have been paying a lot of money. So you got to think about it that way too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, man. Thanks for the tips. I'll definitely look into that, and yeah, hopefully we can find some key winners today. So.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do it. All right, appreciate it, man. All right, take care. Okay, so far, this Nationals game, they're not a great payout today. I do think they have the better riddle. Again, White Sox, their one key narrative is potentially picking up the 30th win on the lesser 30-date numerology, but I like the Nationals getting to 13-7 versus the White Sox. Again, Washington, D.C., 137, the 33rd prime, Nationals, 33. Not crazy about this game either, just because the Dodgers have a slightly better riddle, but it's a little bit iffy. The one thing that could go against the Dodgers is Meta picking up his 30th career loss on this 30-day numerology. Dodgers aren't a good payout. I do think the Phillies have the better narrative here. Again, Arrieta can become 6-5 on June 5th. Philadelphia's 65. And the Padres pitcher would pick up his 3rd career loss in his 5th start with the Padres. 3 the 5th prime, 5 the 3rd prime, excuse me. The Braves, I think they will get their 18th away win in their 61st game. I think they will. And then they probably lose tomorrow to stay at 34 wins against the Pirates. Pirates 34. Musgrove can become 3-7 against the Atlanta Braves. I'm going again with the Blue Jays today. I think they win today and lose tomorrow. If they do lose today, I think they have a good shot to win tomorrow to stay on 39 losses against New York. Again, 23-date numerology, Blue Jays equals 23. So they can make Paxton 3-3 as well. New York's 33. So I'm taking the Blue Jays one more time. The only big concern here is the Yankees staying on 9 away losses on the 23 date, since 23 is the 9th prime. But I think the Blue Jays are going to snap that Yankees series winning streak at 9 today, because if they win, it's over. Not crazy about the Twins-Indians game. Had the Twins won yesterday, they would have been golden today. There was a chance they could lose yesterday, and they did. But because they lost, it kind of broke up the good riddle that would have went for this series. So Carrasco, if he's 4-7 today, that makes a ton of sense. But if he's 5-6 on June 5th, that also makes a bit of sense. So, yeah, I keep staring at it, just like thinking something's going to come to me, but it doesn't. Something that breaks. Oh, one more thought, though. If the Indians win today, I do think they'll win tomorrow and sweep the Twins. That doesn't sound right, does it? Sweeping the Twins as hot as they've been. But then again, the Twins could cool off. Indians are a formidable team. If the Indians lose today, I think they will lose tomorrow. And again, that's because Twins equals 32. So I see a 32 in their win or loss column, depending on what happens today. And if you have a gut feeling on that, by all means, go for it. Personally, I do think Carrasco's record might make a bit more sense 4-7 than 5-6, even though today's June 5th, just because Indians is 47, Ohio's 47, Minnesota's 47. Let me add Ohio to the list. So, okay, the Giants. Now that they've won one, I was thinking they'd either get swept in this series or win one, and there was a chance it could have been yesterday, so they did get the win. The reason I like them winning one game is because Giants equals 25, and their next series back at home, which is after this Mets series, starts on a date with 25 numerology, and it's against Los Angeles. So if the Giants lose these next 2 games to the Mets, well, okay, look at this. If they lose their next 2 games to the Mets, they'll have 36 losses, right? Which means their next loss would be 37. Los Angeles could theoretically give them that 37th loss on the 25-date numerology, so their record would be 25-37. And if they lose 2 in a row, notice they'll have 18 away losses, and they'll get that in their 61st game. So that makes some sense to me. Getting that 18th away loss in the 61st game, they have to lose 2 in a row to make that happen. Let me see, what else was there? This Vargas can get to 2-3 on the season on a 23 date. That's the Mets pitcher. The Mets can stay on 156 home losses to the Giants today on the 156th day of the year. Yeah, so I'm thinking the Mets are going to win 2 in a row. I like it. The Rays and the Tigers, man, why couldn't the Tigers have lost yesterday? Well, the one guy who bet on it, he's happy about it. But, man, it would have set up a great riddle today. Yesterday, the Rays pitcher, he had that chance to become 4-4 in Detroit. That is a big number there in Detroit, 44. I see Spencer Turnbull has a chance to become 4-4 today. So it's within the realm of possibility. Let me see. Turnbull's also. Oh, you know what? Turnbull's also 3-6 for his career, though, and Detroit is 37 as well. He's 3-6 for his career and 3-4 for the season. So you could actually make sense of a loss or a win. Detroit's 37 in the more pure cipher, 44 when you flip the alphabetic order around. Ugh. Yesterday, the Tigers picked up the 77th win against the Rays on the 77th day of the season. Today, they have a shot at the 78th win on the 78th day, and Tigers does equal 78. That if the Tigers win today, that's got to be the riddle. And you know what? I think Tampa Bay's 79. It is. Could the Tigers sweep Tampa Bay? That'd be funny. If they did, they'd get the 79th win on the 79th day of the year. Oh, yeah. Also, if the Tigers won 3 of their next 4 games, they play at home again next. They play the Twins next. If they won 3 of their 4 next games, though, which would be quite an achievement based on how their season's been, they would stay at – they'd get 18 home losses in their 61st game. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, man.
So, yeah, the Tigers game came in for me yesterday with that 77.
Yeah, your gut's doing well, man.
Yeah. Hey, so do you notice with that 18-9 away record that 19-8 prime is just, it's not hitting, man.
It isn't. So yeah, you had a good thought on that.
Yeah, but you know what I have noticed is that when it doesn't hit, the team gets the win the next day.
Yeah,
they go to 19-9.
You're right about that. So
that's one thing to keep an eye on. And also, I see a lot of 31-11s today in a lot of the records. So if there's a team in their 31st game, they have an opportunity to get their 11th, either loss or win.
Hold on. Well, I was looking for those today, and I wasn't seeing them. So now I'm going back and just seeing if I missed that in any game I've covered so far.
I think there's one up top in one of the games up top.
I don't see it in any game I've covered yet so far. So it must be one.
Minnesota's in that 31st game.
No, today will be number 32.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's right.
Twins is 32 though.
Yeah, Twins is 32. But yeah, I think the Twins lose today.
You think they're going down?
Yeah, something about that. The money lines yesterday, the lines were just crazy, and that Cubs game, I switched off the Rockies at the last second after I found that something in their record. I texted you yesterday after the video. Yeah, I switched off the Rockies because I was big on the Rockies getting that 9, and then I realized that the Cubs can actually stop it before it gets to 9. I think it was a 29-10 or something.
Yeah, that was there. I think that was that game.
Yeah. So you like Nationals in the first game?
Yeah, but it's not a good payout, and because it's not a good payout, I don't think it's worth the risk. Just because there's the one chance that the White Sox pick up the 30th win on the 30-day. I do think the Nationals will win, and the White Sox pick up the 18th away loss in their 61st game. But based on the low payout, I don't think it's worth running the risk.
Yeah, but remember yesterday we did say that Nationals would win both games.
So if you parlayed them yesterday, I think that would have been the way to go. But it's up to you. I mean, if you're feeling it, go for it. I just because you pretty much got to bet almost twice your money to win half. So.
Yeah, and then with the Minnesota, they can get their 31st away. In their 31st away game. No, it's the 32nd, right? Yeah, so
right.
Minnesota does equals 32. Maybe they do get that 11th loss in the 32nd. What do you think about that?
What I say about that game is whoever wins today is probably going to win tomorrow. That's what I think is going to happen. Because Twins is 32, so I see the Indians either getting to 32 wins or 32 losses, and the Carrasco thing's the problem because Carrasco's record makes sense with a win or a loss. So
yeah, and there's no 18s on the board, huh?
Nope.
Nowhere.
Nope.
But Indians have a chance to win today to go to 17 and 14, and then get their 18th win and go for the sweep.
And that's not out of the question. That is definitely not out of the question. You know what? Let me look at who's pitching tomorrow in that game to see if we can get a bigger clue here. Do you have any more questions? If not, I'll hang up just because it's easier for me to work with two hands. Because I hold one hand with the phone, so it's always harder.
Yeah, so those were the two that I wanted to look at. And then also that Baltimore game, the 29-10 did not hit for me. So I lost on that one. So when you get to that game, I'll call back.
Well, remember yesterday we said Baltimore could win 2 in a row or lose 2 in a row, and to me it was seeming more likely that they would lose 2 in a row. But now they're in that position to potentially win 2 in a row. So I will get to that game.
Yeah, I think they are going to win 2 in a row because Texas can get their 11th home loss.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
All right, I'll call back.
All right, thanks. Okay, let me just look tomorrow at the pitchers for the Twins and the Indians and see if we can see what makes sense. Because I'm thinking there's a 2 in a row thing here going on. So Jose Barrios stats. Let's see what he's got going on. He is 36 and 28. Tomorrow's date numerology will be 51, 24, 31. Tomorrow, well, the day will be 6, 6, 12. 37 is the 12th prime. I'm not crazy about just using the day and the month. That's the Twins pitcher. And what is he for the season? 7 and 2. Yeah, it's because the Twins, all their pitchers have good records. What's up, man?
Okay, today is World Environment Day. World Environment Day equals 241. 241 is the 53rd prime. 53 is the 16th prime. And that goes with your Gemini 16.
Well, that's interesting. I've never used the special days before, huh? World Environment Day. Okay.
You can look it up right now on Google. It'll pop right up.
Well, I believe you. I'm just saying I've never used that to call games, but it is interesting. Well, you got to take on this Indians Minnesota game today.
Indians Minnesota. No, not really. I don't really like that game.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it either. I see that tomorrow's pitcher for the Indians is on 52 career losses, and if he won tomorrow, he'd stay on 52 against Minnesota.
Yep, that's big. That's prophecy.
But man, I see one conflict with that. With Cleveland, he's 62 and 50 for his career, and tomorrow has 51 date numerology. Yeah.
Cleveland equals 51, right?
If you use the rule for V, but tomorrow has 51 date numerology too. Yeah.
Crucial.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Zach, take a stab at that World Environment Day, man.
Well, it is very interesting, but I mean, I couldn't just say off today that I'm going to call games off the Gematria of World Environment Day. But
you're right. Yeah.
if I see that any team sponsoring something for that, then that would be a. Wait a minute. Did I type in World Environment Day? I got 251, the 54th prime.
Hold on. You got 251.
Yeah, 54th prime.
Hold on. I'm not sure. 251, 53rd prime.
251, 54. That's just like how this NFL season begins on the 251st day of the year, 54th prime. Well, Sunday games are perfect for the year of Super Bowl 54.
Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that out at you, man. Like you said this morning, man, like we learning different stuff, actually, you know what I mean? We just keep adding, and once we keep seeing stuff, it just makes it easier for us to call picks, like with Gemini stuff. That stuff looks valid to me. So it's stuff like that that's hidden secrets that
sure.
get us to the win.
Hey, if you're watching a game today and they start talking about World Environment Day and there's a 54 on the board, I'd be like, uh-oh.
Yep, and that stuff like that happens, Zach. So that's a good point you just brought up. That's why sometimes we can watch these games in live, man, like you said, when they bring up stuff like that.
There you go. Yeah, that's the reason to have this knowledge. And just
because baseball equals 54.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. All right, boss man.
All right, appreciate it. Okay, so, well, I thought I was onto something there for a minute with the Indians pitcher being on 52 career losses. But then I saw that in his time with the Indians, he is at 50, and then he could get 50. So I'm still torn on this game. I do think whoever wins today wins tomorrow. Okay, here we'll do this too real quick. Actually, let's look at something deeper here with the head-to-head records. I want to look at a greater span of games than just this season for how these teams have done against each other recently. The Indians' next win is 631 at home. Is that prime? It's the 115th prime number. Okay. Can I do anything with that? The 115th prime number. Progressive field 18. Because these teams are going to play each other more this year. So we know what's up with 115 this season, but it doesn't have to come today. And they played a lot of games. Okay. All right. So again, this year they're 2-2. Remember, that was one of the concerns yesterday. They could become 2-2 on the 22 day. Last year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So last year the Indians were 10-9 against the Twins. And then at home they were 1, 2, 3. They were 1-2 at home. Actually, let's do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure I counted that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6-4 at home last year. 7-4 at home in their last 11. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to figure it out. I am not going to be able to figure out anything clearly enough for today's game. But again, I do like whoever wins today to win tomorrow. I do like that. Again, finishing on those numbers that sync with the opponent, that happens a whole lot whenever it's possible. So, hold on. I know what else I can look at. Because the other thing that happens a lot is teams will run into the next series. So the Indians play the Yankees next. New York's 33. So the first win or loss against the Yankees could be 33. Okay, that's a clue. But that still doesn't help with which way it goes. Let's look at the Twins schedule. Okay, the Twins got the Tigers next. Makes sense with that. Detroit Tigers. Tigers, if you do the rule with S, is 42. Tigers is 33 in the most pure cipher rule with S. That's the single reduction. For those of you who are newer here, maybe you've never heard me talk about the difference in the ciphers. You really should read my book. You should have that. You should be able to download it since you're a member here. But S is the 19th letter. It's the only letter you have to reduce 2 times. 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. So that's why S has this rule that it can be 1 or 10. And then when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, H becomes the letter with that rule. So that's the reverse alphabetic order. But so if the Twins actually won these next 2 games, they'd go into the Tigers series on 42. Ooh. And then that Indians pitcher tomorrow, he could potentially pick up his 51st loss with the Indians on the 51 day. And Cleveland, so here, Cleveland There's also a rule for master numerology. K and V are the master numbers with the alphabetic order. K is the 11th, V is the 22nd. If you know numerology, you don't have to reduce 11 and 22. So if you don't reduce the V in Cleveland, it's 51. Again, that Cleveland pitcher can pick up his 51st career loss tomorrow on the 51 day in Cleveland. But the only thing was he's at 52. That would be 51 career losses with Cleveland. For his total career with his other team he played with, he could stay at 52 losses, and Minnesota's 52, just like how Trevor Bauer became 5-2 yesterday. Ooh, I'm still torn on it, but that made me lean a little bit more towards the Twins, just thinking about it. It's still risky today. I say wait till tomorrow, you'll get a better pick. I think tomorrow will be close to a free pick. Okay, Giants and Mets, I did this. I do think the Mets are going to win 2 in a row here. That's my take on that. I think Vargas is getting 2 and 3 on this 23 day. And I think the Giants, they lose 2 in a row. They get their 18th away loss in their 61st game. Rays and Tigers, okay. Yeah, Tigers would be a great payout again. Man. But like the guy said, I know what he did say is true. Teams who've been losing on that 19-8, they have been winning the next game. So it's hard to go with it. If the Tigers did win today, though, they would get their 78th win on the 78th day of the MLB season. Tigers equal 78. And if they did, they'd have a chance to get 79 tomorrow on the 79th day where Tampa Bay equals 79. So that could be the riddles. That could be the way the riddle's flowing with this series. It's possible. Possible. I'll tell you what, though, if the Tigers lose today, it sets up tomorrow with the 24-day numerology. So, man. Yeah. I think I would wait on this game because Turnbull's record makes sense with a win or a loss. Morton, if he were to lose, he'd be 6-1 with the Rays, that baseball number. But yeah, it's tough, that one. The one thing for the Rays today too is if they won, they'd stay on 9 away losses on the 23 day, 23 the 9th prime. I'll make that note here. If Rays win, they stay on 9 away losses on 23 day. Okay. Alcantara. So the Marlins, they got the same type of thing going today. They can pick up their 23rd win on the 23 day. And you know what? If they win one and lose one, let me make sure this is a 3-game series. But if the Marlins lose one game in this series, they'll have 37 losses, and Milwaukee's 37 in the most pure cipher. And then they'd be back against the Atlanta Braves, which equals 37. So I'm thinking the Marlins got a shot here. I'm thinking the Marlins got a good shot. Get that 23rd win on the 23 date and lose one. Milwaukee 37, face the Atlanta Braves 37. Let me see. I guess I should document this. Marlins equals 49. Alcantara could fall to 4-9 with a loss. Man, Milwaukee. Okay, that's a red flag though, right there. Usually, the last time we won on a line like this, it was a Mets game. I can't remember what it was, but the line was 270. It did come through. It's just when they get this high, it's pretty rare. With regards to the Marlins winning 16-0 yesterday, 53 is the 16th prime. Milwaukee's also 53. That's what that was about. Caller? Caller? Caller, you there?
Hey, yeah, can Can you hear me?
Now I hear you.
Today,
Yep.
yeah. Today is the you were asking what you could do with the 115th prime. I'm just saying today's the 5th of the month, which is the 11th prime. So that may tie in.
Okay. That was the Twins Indians game. So okay, 115 is kind of like 11 the 5th prime on the 5th. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, that's all I got. Just wanted to throw that in.
That's a good point. I appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, take care.
Okay. And let me see if I still got that up here. Did I get rid of it? That was the Indians and Twins. Here, I can get it up here real fast. I'm pretty sure let me see how it was. The Indians might be on 631 home wins versus the Twins right now. Cleveland Indians, Minnesota Twins. Their next win is their 631st. Let me just put a note up here about that. Indians' next home win versus Twins is 631. 115th prime. Today is 5th. 11 the 5th prime. Okay. So, man, I mean, the date numerology is the most consistent thing there is. Marlins do have a shot at that 23rd win on the 23 date, and man, would they ever be a great payout. I wish I hadn't dug so deep yesterday because the Marlins just had the great surface level riddle yesterday, but the pitcher took me off it. And isn't it funny that yesterday the pitcher took me off it with a 49 thing, and today it's the same thing? That where did he go? Alcantara could become 4-9. And Marlins is 49. It's giving me deja vu yesterday. If Marlins lose one game in series, they exit with 37 losses. Milwaukee equals 37. So a strategy could be also, if you're believing in what I'm saying about them exiting the series with 37 losses, because again, Milwaukee's 37 in the most pure cipher. So is Atlanta Braves, who they face next. If you bet the Marlins today and say they don't win, you could bet them again tomorrow. And I think you got a good chance to win at least one of those two bets. And I'm guessing the Marlins are going to be a substantial underdog in both. So you should come out. You should come out ahead, unless of course they lost both. But to me, that wouldn't make sense. So that line's big, but 23 on the 23 dates there. Okay. Orioles and Rangers. So we talked about this yesterday. The Orioles had a scenario to win 2 in a row or lose 2 in a row. And I said, being the Orioles on the road and losing 2 in a row is probably more like it, but they won. So if the Orioles win today, they stay on 18 away losses in their 61st game. And that was the scenario for them winning 2 in a row yesterday. For Minor, the pitcher for the Rangers, this is going to be his 41st start with Texas, and 41's the 13th prime. He could get his 13th loss. Baltimore's 41, by the way. Just put that up here. So in his 41st start with Texas, he could get his 13th loss. And Baltimore's 41, 41's the 13th prime. Somebody called and it rang one time. I didn't have a chance to answer it. I don't know if you hung up yourself, but the one thing that worries me about the Orioles pitcher is if he lost today, he'd be 5-5 in his 10th start. 55 is the 10th Fibonacci number. 55 is the 10th triangular number. You know what else? Rangers is 46 with the rule. Let me see. Check something else out. Oh, Okay, 46 is like the reflection of 64 if he became 6-4. The Rangers' next win versus the Orioles is 271, the 58th prime. Notice the Rangers became 139 and 193 at home against Baltimore yesterday. I said if that did happen, those numbers have some symmetry with each other. 58. Caller?
Yeah, Zach, this Chris.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, that Phillies and Padres game, man. I like the Padres today.
Okay, what are you thinking?
Cause I always go on when I go on, I always go on other websites and a lot of money is on the fields to win today, but it's that one site Oddshot that got San Diego winning today. Cause I got that right with the O's last night.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I looked on there because the favorite is the Rangers today, but I think the O's could do it 2 straight today.
They could.
Yeah. So you like the Blue Jays to win again today?
I do.
The favorite is the Yankees though, but I don't know. It could do it twice, but.
Well, Blue Jays equals 23. Today's got the 23 date. They're going for their 23rd win. That's the 9th prime. And if they do it, they snap the Yankees series winning streak at 9 games. So that's what I was talking about yesterday. And if they lose just 1 game in the series, they exit the series with 39 losses, what I call the New York numbers. So
that Indians game, I'm liking the Twins to win today.
You're feeling the Twins? I think whoever wins today wins tomorrow. I think whoever wins today wins tomorrow. So
yeah. That San Francisco game, I had the Mets last night, man. I had all the underdogs last night except for the Mets, man. They ain't come through for it. They lost at the end. I said, dang.
Did they give up? I saw the score was 3-9. That's that New York number 39.
Yeah, that was an extra inning, but it was tied 3-3. I think if they didn't took Senegal, I think they would have won the game.
Huh. New York's 33 and they lost 3-9 in extra innings. I didn't see how it went down. Wow, crazy.
Yeah, extra innings in the 10th inning.
New York in the 10th inning, of course, man. When you write out 10 as a word, it equals 39, like New York. Comical.
Yeah. And then I don't want to talk about the Marlins again. I had Astros last night, so I was laughing because everybody thought that the Marlins had a chance to come back. They hit a base hit, got in the lead 4-3. I said, man, I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about this. They look good for right now. And then the Astros came right back in the next and then the same inning, score a whole lot of runs, man. I said, Marlins suck, man.
You mean the Mariners? The Mariners.
I mean the Mariners.
Yeah. Right now they do. That's for sure.
I was laughing, man. I said, man, look at this, man.
Yeah. They blew it. So.
I don't know. I ain't see the Marlins putting up 16 points on the Brewers last night. I ain't see that. That shocked me last night.
Well, Milwaukee equals 53, and that's the 16th prime. So if I hadn't gone deep yesterday, the Marlins had the perfect riddle on the surface. They were picking up the win with the date numerology and keeping the Brewers at 18 wins in their 61st game. The 61's the 18th prime. So those are 2 really reliable variables that came through. It's just that the Brewers pitcher's record was perfect for the win. So.
Yeah, I'm liking the Braves. I'm liking the Braves again today too, because I had the Braves last night, and they came back because Pittsburgh was up like 5-0 in the first 3 innings, and then the Braves came all the way back and took the lead.
I like the Braves today too. I'm with you on the Braves. Yep. With the Phillies thing,
tomorrow.
I just want to say about your Phillies pick. Hey, go with your gut, and I do see that you're right. 70% of the money is on the Phillies. It's just that if Arrieta wins, he's 6-5, and Philadelphia equals 65, and they're established on the day, leaving 65 days left in the year. And if the Padres pitcher loses, he gets his 3rd loss in his 5th start. 5's the 3rd prime. Just like the front page of CNN this morning's 3 people dead in the Dominican in 5 days. And the latest is from Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania also equals 53. So I do see that the money, if Padres win, it looks like Vegas wins. But there's a good riddle there for the Phillies, so I'd be careful on that game. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I got Padres on one, and then I'll probably put Phillies on another one.
Okay.
Just in case to be on the safe side.
There you go.
Yeah, I can do it that way.
All right. All right. Appreciate it.
That's all I wanted.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
All right. Take care. Okay. So where was I? Orioles and Rangers. So the Orioles, they got a decent riddle to win today. Again, we talked about this. Caller?
Hey, Zach. Yeah, I know that you're on the Orioles Rangers. I saw you might be on the Cubs Rockies by now. I am following your live stream, but I wanted to add in about the Cubs manager Joe Madden. That today is 117 days after his birthday, and his total overall record is 1,016 wins. And he's been kind of following this riddle. The Cubs have been kind of like I think it was 2 days ago. He was on his 1,015th win, and he picked up his 1,016th loss. 116 days after his birthday.
That's making sense. Okay, so when he was at 999, it was wins or losses. I forget what it was. It was on September 9th, and Cubs is 9. So there's definitely been some Joe Madden riddles with the dates perfectly this year. And it sounds like what you're saying is you like the Cubs to win because of that. I like the Cubs to win today. So I think the Cubs are going to win. I think the Cubs are going to win the next 2 games because Rockies equals 35.
Well, here's the thing: is the Cubs, I believe, would have to lose today to stick with the riddle. But the riddle needs to be broken at some point, and it has been going on for the past few days now. So this could be the day that this riddle is broken. But yeah, if the Cubs lose, then Joe Madden will have 1,017 losses all time, 117 days after his birthday. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me I just put his stats up on the screen. So yeah, that is interesting. And I've definitely seen some Joe Madden riddles. So I'm gonna have to consider that more. But I noticed that if the Cubs win both, they do get to 35 wins and Rockies is 35. So
right, exactly. And that's what I was considering too. So yeah, that's why I thought the riddle, it's a good chance it might be broken. Because like I said, it has been going on for the past few days. I think since the 115 days after he was born on his 1,015th loss is when I picked up on this. But yeah, so figured I'd call in, kind of throw that in there because I didn't think I heard you say anything about Joe Madden. So yeah, that's all I got.
All right, great observation. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
All right, thanks. All right, this is something to keep in mind. So yesterday was 116 days after his birthday. He stayed at 1,016 losses. Well, that makes things more interesting, but what caught my eye today is if the Cubs win 2 more, they're at 35, and Rockies is 35 in the most pure cipher. I also saw that Marquez for the Rockies, today's his 79th start, the 22nd prime, and he could get his 22nd loss. So I liked that too going against the Rockies. And Darvish, he can become 3-7 or 4-6. Chicago's 37-46. Chicago Cubs is also 46. So I lean a little bit more towards the 46. I also noticed that if the Cubs won, they'd be 54-45 at home against the Rockies. Both big baseball numbers. Baseball's 54, Major League's 45. I kind of like the symmetry there with that. So, and if the Rockies lose 2 straight, they get to 18 away losses in their 61st game. So I'll make the note here about Joe Madden. Today is 117 days after Madden's birthday. Could get 1,017th career loss. But I do like the Cubs today. Caller?
Hey, so I think this game is another trap game, just like how they tried to trap us yesterday with the Rockies. So if the Cubs did lose, they'd be 20-11 at home. That's
yeah, there's the 11 and the 31st. Yeah, you're right.
31-11. And if you notice, the line is on Chicago. So I think that they're trying to get people to bet on Chicago to win this game.
Sure.
Having such a low line, people are going to see that line. They're going to be like, oh, well, they beat the Rockies yesterday. They snapped them. They were the hottest team in baseball. Don't forget that the Rockies were the hottest team in baseball for the last week.
Right.
So, I don't know. I'm leaning towards the Rockies to win this one, and then they'll probably lose tomorrow.
Okay.
So the Chicago Cubs will probably win 2 out of 3 in this one. That
sounds reasonable, but I dialed in this morning when I noticed that the Rockies, if they lost 2 in a row, they'd get their 18th away loss in the 61st game, and the Cubs would finish the series on 35 wins, where Rockies is 35. Because I have a lot of luck with lining up the records when they exit the series with the other team's Gematria. So, yeah, I hear you though. On the line.
Yeah, actually, the other thing too that I noticed is the Rockies could actually win the next 2, and then they can finish the series with the same record.
Oh, as the Cubs, they'd both be 33-28.
Yeah, so I don't know if those 33 and 28 play at all.
They do play today, because if you write out 28 and if you write out 33 as words, they both sum to 156th on the 156th day of the year. That is a good observation.
And then when you looked at any of the teams, so yesterday the Red Sox had 77, Tigers had the chance for that 77th win in the all-time series. Did you see any 78s in any of the games?
The Tigers equal 78, and today they can get their 78th win.
Okay, is there any other ones?
I think that's the only one that came up. The Brewers were a team yesterday that had a chance at their 77th win on the 77th day and didn't get it.
They didn't get it.
I think the Tigers were the only 78 I came across today.
Okay. All right, I'm going to look into that.
As I go through the notes, if another one comes up, you should hear me say it, but I think that was the one that popped. All right. Thanks, man. All right. So, yeah, we do have some contradictions there with the Cubbies. That 11th home loss in the 31st home game, it is there. 31's the 11th prime. But, man, 35 wins on the Rockies. They got to sweep them to do it. Let me see who these teams play next. Man, it's always good when the callers catch things that I don't, because, we don't want to – that's why it's good to have more than one set of eyes. But, man, I was feeling good about that before the calls. Rockies going to New York next. Well, he was saying that if the Rockies won both, they'd both be 33-28. And now that I see they play New York next, it's possible. New York's 33. They could go into the New York series on 33. That also happens. And the Cubs, they play the Cardinals next. St. Louis. That's not going to work out. That's not going to work out. Okay. Let me go back over this Orioles-Rangers game. I don't think I finished my thought there, but if the Orioles did win today, they'd stay at 18 away losses through 61 games. If the Rangers lost today, they would pick up their 11th home loss in their 31st game. 31 the 11th prime. And it's also their – oh, never mind. The only thing that concerns me about the Orioles is the pitcher's record. He could become 5-5 through 10 games. 55-10 are kind of like peas in a pod. But, again, the overall records are better, and the overall – better for picking games. The overall records make more sense with the Orioles win today. So – Rangers could pick up 11th home loss in 31st home game, 31, 11th prime. So I think the Orioles, they'd be a nice payout today too. I think they're worth the risk. I wouldn't bet the farm on it, but it's a game you could use as a parlay multiplier too. And if you had a nice parlay, you could do 2 parlays, and you could do one with the Orioles and the Rangers. I like to do that when you get a nice multiplier, because that way if it doesn't come through, you don't have to feel too bad about it, because your other parlay hits as long as you had the right teams in that mix if the Rangers win. But you'd still want to cheer for the Baltimore, because they'd be the bigger payout. Yeah, man. Part of me still wants to say I like the Cubs today. It was my first thought. When I saw that Marquez could get his 22nd loss in his 79th start, 79 is the 22nd prime, that was looking good. And then the Cubs getting to 35 against the Rockies, that was looking good. But you guys did make some, again, if the Rockies do lose 2 straight, they get their 18th away loss in their 61st game. But yeah, got to consider this, the 11th home loss in the 31st game. So Darvish, his record could make sense with a win or a loss. So. Okay, Red Sox and Royals. Chris Sale, 1-7 this year. And the name Sale, wait a minute. That might be wrong. I might have a false note up here. Yeah, never mind. The name Sale doesn't equal 18, it equals 19. Just in case he got there. If he lost 2 more games, he'd be 1-9 in 2019. I put 18, that's not correct. Junis for the Royals is going for his 23rd career win today on the 23 date. He's at 22. Boston equals 22. The Red Sox are on 241, or the Royals are on 241 losses against the Red Sox, the 53rd prime. Boston Red Sox, 53. If the Royals won today, they would stay on 18 home losses in their 61st game. 61 the 18th prime. So Boston is a monster favorite. You know what I need to say about rather than this Sale 19 thing, that's not as helpful. Royals does equal 27. If Sale won today, he would be 2-7 versus the Royals. That's the more important stat. If he lost, he'd be 1-8. Baseball's 18. So, and he would become 1-8. Oh, it's the 61st game for both teams, actually. 61 the 18th prime, 61st game for both teams. So, man, the Royals got a narrative. They do. The line's in that territory where, you know, much lower chance of it coming through. If it was negative 200, I'd feel better about it. When it starts to get around that range, it's danger. But you know what I'd do? I'd see how many people bet on the Royals today. My guess is not very many. Let's just see what the early is. Let's see, where's the 88% of the money's on Boston so far. If it stays that way closer to game time, I think the Royals are worth a stab because even though that's a big payout, if not many people bet on it, they don't have to pay much. But the Royals definitely have a narrative to win. The best thing going for the Red Sox is Chris Sale becoming 2-7 versus the Royals. Royals 27. So another scenario for the Royals is to lose their next 2 games. They would stay at 11 wins through 31 games. Caller?
Yeah, Zach, this Chris again.
What's up?
That caller made a good call. I'm liking the Rockies to win tonight too.
You're thinking Rockies?
Yeah, I'm thinking Rockies too.
Okay.
Because all the money is on the Cubs. Is because they made a scale. The odds was a little scared yesterday when they had all the money on the Cubs and the Cubs came through.
Well, it wasn't all of it wasn't on the Cubs. It was 50-some% to like 40-some%.
Yeah, because I thought the cover would have been good, but at the same time, the cover wasn't really that good last night. Yeah, I'm thinking the Rockies could win tonight.
Well, they do. The narrative is like the caller said. If they won 2 in a row, that would make some sense. So,
And you said that Tigers game. I'm thinking. I mean, the Tigers won yesterday. That was a good riddle for them yesterday. But I don't think they're gonna win today, though. I got Rays winning today.
I'd like to see the Rays win today because it sets up a good riddle for the Tigers tomorrow. So,
yeah. And the Red Sox, the Royals was up. Remember you said yesterday that the Royals was gonna hang in there for a minute. I mean, they had 2-0 lead in the early innings, but it's the Red Sox maneuver after that and scored like 8 runs. So
yeah, the Red Sox had the Red Sox win today too. The Red Sox had the better riddle yesterday. The Royals had a little narrative yesterday, but the Red Sox had the better riddle. Today, the Royals have the better riddle. So,
but the Royals to win today?
They have the better riddle, yeah, because their pitcher can get his 23rd career win on the 23 date. And again, the Royals can stay on 18 home losses in their 61st game, 61 the 18th prime. So they those are 2 nice things to have. And Chris Sale, again, he can become 2-7 today with a win. Royals is 27, so that's possible in his record. But if he lost, he'd be 1-8. It's the 61st game for both teams, which is the 18th prime. So,
and I also I was looking at the Reds and Cardinals game. I like the Reds to win 2 straight today.
Let me see. What I saw for the Reds today is it's their 61st game and they can pick up their 18th away loss. 61 is the 18th prime. I like those prime numbers.
So you leaning towards the Cardinals today?
I'm thinking the Cardinals could get it done today. I am.
Oh, okay.
What could go?
I like the A's to win 2 straight today against the Angels.
I wanted to go back to your Cardinals pick though. If you're feeling the Reds to win, I mean, take it, because the narrative against the Cardinals is if they lose, they become 30-30, and today has date numerology at 30 as well. So it is possible the Reds win. I don't mean to take you off that, but those prime numbers I have trouble overlooking. So
yeah, because they had a delay yesterday. I thought they was gonna play at 10, but I guess the rain stopped or something, or a thunderstorm stopped. And it felt like the Cardinals was about to win the game, but the Rays came back and scored a run. So I think I'm leaning towards the Reds to probably win 2 straight today. I mean, if the Cardinals win, them numerologies that you was talking about, they'll probably come too. But I'm liking the Reds though on the road again.
Okay. Stick with your guns. You said you like the Athletics. I think the Athletics have a little bit better riddle than the Angels today. That one's dicey today. Yesterday was a great riddle for the Athletics. Today's not anywhere near as good, but yeah. If you're feeling the A's, go with it. So
you that Giants and St. Louis. That Giants and that Mets game. You think the Mets can win 2 straight? I'm really thinking that the Giants can win another one today.
I like the Mets to win 2 straight. That's my call on that. The Giants are on 25.
They didn't come through for me yesterday, but it's always tricky like that. Like they don't win the last night and they come through and win the day.
So this is it again. The Giants are on 25 wins. That's a huge number with that team. Giants equals 25. They play again on a 25 date numerology when they go back to host Los Angeles, their next game after this series. If they lose 2 straight, they're going to have 18 away losses through 61 games. 61's the 18th prime. That's a big relationship in baseball. So
yeah.
Yes.
All right. That's all I wanted to call.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yep. Welcome. Yeah, I mean, if you guys got a strong feeling, stick with your guns. I'm just telling you what I see in the numbers. And like this Reds and Cardinals game, again, the Reds can pick up their 18th away loss in their 61st game. But I should also note, Cardinals could become 30-30 with L on 30 dates. So, caller.
Hey, Zach, just wanted to point out 2 things real quick. And I just, can you refresh me? You have the Red Sox. You like the Red Sox today, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Okay. So the one thing I just wanted to point out about that game is the Red Sox manager Alex Cora. He is on 83 career wins.
Nice.
You know, which is the 23rd prime.
Right.
Yeah. So that could go in favor of them. And I also just wanted to point out also about you were just talking to the man about the Cardinals game. If the Cardinals were to split their next two games, they would go into if the Cardinals were to lose their next two games, they would go into June 7th, 6-7 on 30 and 31, like 331 to 67th time.
I see.
So that's also that's also something that could be a little too abstract, or you know, I don't know if it is, but it's just another point as well.
That is a good observation.
So yeah,
that's a good observation. No, I like it. That's a great point.
Right. So yeah, that's all I got about the Red Sox and the Cardinals.
Okay, so if Cora loses today, he stays on 83 wins on the 23 day.
Yeah, it's a pot. See, and you know that just because they're on the number, it could always change. But I just figured I'd throw it out there because you know it could matter. You never know.
Well, the Kansas City has enough riddles to think they're worth the risk. I definitely wouldn't bet the farm on Kansas City, but they're a great payout if they come through, and they'd be a great parlay multiplier. Yeah. So.
Exactly. Yeah, I like Kansas City too. It's just always those one or two things that you know kind of give me hesitation, and I just figured I'd let you and other people know that you know Alex Cora is on 83 wins on the 23 days. So
well, that's how this knowledge is, because some days things are just tight and it's like, it could go this way or that way. But like you know, yesterday there was about 4 games that looked real good and they came through. So I mean, right. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that stuff in there, and yeah, that's all I got right now.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, great observation.
All right, man.
Thanks. So yeah, he's right on. Cora is on 83 losses. That is the 23rd prime. Oh wait, I thought he said 83 wins though. He said 83 losses. So actually, that changes things. Okay, I thought he said wins. Shoot, 83 losses. Okay, Cora is on 83 losses. The 23rd prime. So if Boston won, he'd stay there. Caller.
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
This is my first time calling. Maybe I'm not paying attention. I'm starting to learn. I'm starting to see the way. We're getting money around here. And can you tell me about that Red Sox Royals again? Tell me all the reasons you think. You said the 61 game for who?
Okay, so this is what we're looking at here. It's going to be the 61st game for both teams today. 61 is the 18th prime number, and it's the most important prime relationship in baseball. The word prime itself equals 61. It's why Roger Maris hit 61 home runs in the year 61. And if you go back and watch that highlight, the pitcher was number 39 and the catcher was number 22. 39 plus 22, 61. But anyway, baseball equals 18 as well. So 61, 18. It's something to look for. When it's on the board, it comes through a lot. Not always, but like last night, for example.
The Royals can stay at 18 losses on their 61st game.
Exactly.
And also if that happens, the Red Sox can get their 18th loss on the 61st game.
But the problem with the Red Sox is they could also get their 18th away win, right? So.
Correct. But will it line up as beautifully or?
Well, notice what happens to Chris Sale if they lose tonight. He becomes 1-8, which looks a bit like 18.
Oh, I see.
But the problem with Chris Sale is if he wins, he's 2-7, and Royals is 27. And now the last caller just pointed out that Alex Cora, as a manager with Boston's on 83 career losses, which is the 23rd prime. And if he won today, he'd stay on those 83 losses. But at the same time, what I liked about Kansas City is I saw that their pitcher, Junis, could get his 23rd career win today on the 23-day. So it is a conflicted riddle. It's just.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Royals because it's such a big dog. It's such a big dog today. I know everyone's gonna bet the Sox today.
I would say if the money stays.
On that, Brewers.
Right. So yesterday the Brewers stayed on 18 home wins in their 61st game when they got wasted yesterday.
Yeah, they got wasted.
What
they were big dogs? They were like minus 270 yesterday. The Brewers were.
Right. And on the surface, the Marlins had a good riddle yesterday, but the Brewers pitcher made me doubt that the Marlins would come through. I shouldn't have done that. What I told people at the beginning of this live stream and what I've said before is when a line's around negative 200 and there's a good upset riddle there, it'll often come through. But when it starts to get to a bigger number, then it gets doubtful. So that's what worries me about Kansas City is just how far the line is. But I'd use that pregame website that I link pregame, and I'd wait closer to game time to bet. And if it stays at about 90% of the money on the Red Sox, then I think it would be okay to take the Royals with the chance of the upset. If it gets closer to even, then I wouldn't do it because even like if it ends up that like 35% of the money's on the Royals and 2/3 is on the Red Sox, they'll probably still have the Red Sox win because to pay out 35% with that line, they have to pay way more money.
Right.
So
yeah, okay. That's my call. I just wanted to point that out. And the numerals is looking real good on that.
Yeah. All right. Well, call us back again. I appreciate your call. You have a good day.
All right, you too.
All right. Take care, man. Okay. So yesterday was definitely a better day. Yesterday we had some great riddles. Today there's some okay ones, but today things are a little bit tighter again. So the A's and the Angels, guy called in a couple calls ago and he said he likes the A's to win it again today. Yesterday the A's had, I thought, the best riddle out of all the riddles yesterday. I thought the A's had the most complete riddle and they did come through. Today, what was it that I was looking at? Oh, okay. So there's two things that I'm staring at. Today has the 30-date numerology. The Athletics come in 30 and 30. The Angels can get that 30th win, but there's also a big relationship with 33 and 156 through Gematria. When you write out 33, it equals 156. The Angels could get their the Angels could get their 33rd loss today. So I personally just can't say that I'm thrilled about that game. Hold up, they changed their pitcher since I did this morning. This is the guy they just had pitch a couple innings the other day to start too. So this morning it said that Pena was going to start. Now they got this Bedrosian guy going again. Okay, all right. I did my decode early this morning at like 5:30. So I'm guessing Pena is going to Bedrosian or however you say his name. He'll probably pitch an inning or two, and then this Pena guy will probably come in. Bedrosian starting now. Okay. So we know that this guy wears number 32, right? He does, doesn't he? Isn't he the guy that was just part of that Cubs 32 riddle that we just tracked the other day? Oh, shoot. You know what I forgot to do in my decode today, you guys? Now that I just did it, I'm like, man, I didn't put up the pitcher jersey numbers today. Here. It doesn't take long to get the jersey numbers real quick. Let me just do it real fast. I realize we got to be looking at the White Sox Nationals game's already underway. The Nationals are up like we're expecting. Let's just look real quick. I can't believe I forgot to do this. He's 68. Who's even pitching for the Nationals? I forget. That Sanchez guy. I'll just save it for the games that haven't started yet. Shoot. Try to have all this stuff done so you guys don't have to watch me do this. It's boring. Made a jersey number. Okay, he's number 18. Number 18. Maida. Duplantier. 57. Okay. Arrieta. 49. Quantrill. Diamondbacks. Okay. Why is his jersey not coming up? Oh, he's the wrong dude. Am I spelling this guy's name wrong? Oh, no, that is the right guy. I had the wrong team in there. Cal Contrail. Let me see. Caller?
Hey, yeah, Zach, also for the Reds game, something else that goes in favor of the Reds is their manager, David Bell. This game today is 264 days after his birthday, leaving 101 days left in the year. 101 to 26 prime, huge number with the Reds. Reds equals 62-26. That might be a big clue.
Okay, so the Reds manager has a nice alignment with his birthday today.
Yeah. I mean, today leaves today leaves 101 days left in the year for him. 26 prime, and 26 is a big number with the Reds.
Okay.
Reds equals 26 and 62. So that I've seen the number 26 with the Reds the Yankees as well, but the Reds that can be an important number with the Reds as well.
The good observation. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so that's and like I said, that goes in favor also of St. Louis losing the next two and becoming 30 and 31 on 6-7. They're going into 6-7, 30 and 31. So yeah.
All right, excellent observation. Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right, thanks, man. Okay, so the Reds had that prime number relationship thing going. This guy's name, Martin Perez. Sorry if I'm boring you guys to death, but I realize we got to have these jersey numbers in here. 2 days ago, they were the perfect riddles with 2 of the games. They mattered yesterday. Can't believe I forgot to do this today. Just a few more minutes here. If you guys want to go grab a drink or something, I'll have it all up here just to see if it gives us any big pointers. Could get nothing out of it, but to me, it's worth the time. It's better to be right than wrong and have all the information on the table. All right, let me see. Tyler Beede. He's number 38. This guy's named Justin Vargas. Is that right? Jason Vargas. $44. Okay. Charlie Morton. Almost done. Caller?
Yeah, real quick with the Royals game, Jacob Julius wears number 65. Today is 6/5 for the Royals. So does that mean that that's a good sign for the Royals or what?
Well, I can't say that that's a sure sign that he's going to win, but it is interesting he's pitching on the date. I'm just noticing for the Tigers, as you say, that Turnbull number 56 is pitching too, and they're another team that has a chance today for an underdog upset. June 5th can be 5-6 as well. I'd like to see how the jersey numbers will correspond with like the win-loss totals more than the date, because sometimes a team has a like let's just say it's a 49 date and the team's name equals 49. Like for example, yesterday the Marlins equals 49, and the Marlins dominated yesterday on the 49 date numerology. But the next time you see the Marlins play on a 49 date numerology, they might not win. They might get dominated. And that's been one of the hard things over the years to figure out why it is that way, why some teams perform so well on the day that corresponds with their number and why other days it's so bad. And I've been trying to figure that out for all the years I've been doing this. So I've never been able to make a consistent read based on somebody's number perfectly corresponding with the date, because it seems to be back and forth. So
yeah, Yeah, the Marlins, you know why they won with 16 points. Milwaukee equals 53
Right.
16 front.
Absolutely.
So that's, you know.
Absolutely.
But because one thing I noticed with the jersey numbers, it doesn't. I don't know about baseball, but with NBA, it came through a ton. Like if the players for the NBA had the jersey numbers that lined up with the date numerology, like 9 times out of 10, those teams came through. I was like, that's interesting.
Huh.
So yeah, I had noticed that with the NBA, like during the playoffs, like every time I would just match up the jersey numbers, you know, whoever had the most players with the jersey numbers that matched up with the date numerology end up winning the game like so many times. So I don't know if that's valid for baseball or not, but
well, continue to track it. I'm noticing right now that Mike Minor for the Rangers, he wears the number 23. That's going to be a big number today. So we'll see. All right, man. But yeah, I wish I could give you a better answer. But yeah, it's hit and miss with the numbers syncing up with the date type of thing. So.
Okay, yeah, because that Royals game is really bothering me. I just can't figure that one out. It's so tough. And then especially with that caller just said about the 83 things with the manager, it made it even tougher.
Right. Yeah, I was digging the Cubs until I got the calls. So,
yeah, and I just noticed on the Royals have literally like no money on the Royals right now. But it's still early. But don't get me wrong, but there's like no freaking money on the Royals right now.
If it stays that way, I think they're worth a shot. So.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. I mean, if the money's so lopsided like that, doesn't it usually mean that this team is just like not gonna do it? I mean, if it's so lopsided like this, I mean, it's saying like 5% of the money right now is on the Royals, so pretty low.
Right. If it stays that way, I think they're worth a go because then they could afford to pay out on a big line like that.
Okay. Yeah, I just have to call in about that because I've seen that 6 spot. I'm like, okay, today's 6/5. I don't know if that's worth any more or not. So, and then, one other thing I noticed, somebody called in and said it was something day, World Environment Day or something like that. I'm not sure if that hasn't even do anything, but it did. That day did come to 251, and then I just got an update that said something about the MLB Midsummer Classic All-Star voting, and that came up today. It said early Midsummer Classic voting for MLB, and I typed in Midsummer Classic, and that also took to 251. So that's interesting too.
Okay, yeah, that's a good observation.
Yeah, that is interesting because he said World Environment Day. He said that I typed that in. That's from the 251, and then now this thing about MLB, the Midsummer Classic comes to 251. I'm like, okay, so that's interesting. And we know 251 is the 54th prime. So that's something to take note of. I'm not sure if that has any relevance for today or not, but it is interesting.
All right. Yeah, great observations. I appreciate it.
Yeah, all right, thanks, man.
All right, thanks. All right, and I have one more picture to plug in here. And the one thing that's really jumped out from the jersey numbers is what's going on in the Angels athletics game. So notice the guy who's on the mound for the Athletics is number 33, and the Angels can pick up that 33rd loss facing number 33. So far, those kinds of observations have been coming through. And for the guy earlier who said he likes the Athletics, I would build that as one more piece of evidence to like the Athletics today. He's coming in with his team 30-30, which is kind of like 33. Oakland equals 31. If these teams split the next 2 games, they could be 31-31 in Oakland. Tonight we got the basketball game going too. Finals is 61. 61st game for the Athletics on the first night of Oakland hosting the finals game. That's interesting. Okay, but yeah, after plugging in all those jersey numbers, took a minute, but the only thing that really popped for me out of all the ones we just punched in was the fact that the Athletics can give the Angels their 33rd loss. Number 33 can give Angels 33rd loss. Okay. All right, and then the Astros, Mariners, I think they got one more game in this series. Let me check that. Astros schedule. So perhaps the Mariners can split one of these two with the – well, never mind. What I was going to say is if the Astros got to hold on. Mariners equals 43. It's their 43rd season. Astros can get to 43 wins. Seattle, though, equals 44. If Astros sweep, they'll get 44 wins. So if the Mariners lose two more, they'll have 41 losses. Houston's 41 as well. Houston's 40 and 41. That's tough. Let's again, we'll come back and go over all this when we do the review, but let's just switch gears here for a minute and let's do basketball. Just up front, I'm not crazy about tonight's basketball game. I have a feeling they're going to split again in Oakland. The other scenario I see is Oakland. A potential scenario that's still on the board is the Warriors winning the rest of the games and closing it out in Game 5. And the reason that scenario could make sense is because the Warriors would play 21 playoff games. It's the 73rd NBA season. 73 is the 21st prime. And again, Steph Curry born on the 73rd day of the year, yada, yada, yada. The Warriors are the 73 team. It's why we had them pegged to win 57 games in the regular season so that they could win 73 by winning the championship in the 73rd NBA season. 57 in the regular season plus 16 in the playoffs, 73. So the Warriors right now are 13-5 in the playoffs. Remember, that's the big old Philadelphia number, 135. The Warriors are 6-2 at home. If they win, they're 7-2. Toronto does equal 72. If they split, they'd be 7-3, like the 73rd NBA season, just like how their away record's 7-3 right now. The Warriors are 70-30 on the season. Their next win's 71. Toronto Raptors is 71. Remember, the Raptors got their 71st win on the 20-date numerology. 71's the 20th prime. They stayed on 71 wins in Game 2, which also fell on a 20-date numerology. The Warriors are 36-13 at home. Those numbers aren't going with the date, as far as I know, for today. This is the Warriors' 101st game of the season. Finals does equal 101. It's the 26th prime, but I don't see any 26s up there. The Raptors right now are 13-7 in the 2019 finals. They're 4-4 away. If they won, they'd be 5-4. Oracle equals 54. If they lost, they'd be 4-5. 4-5 is the geometry number. Steph Curry's born on Pi Day. The name of the war. Geometry equals 45 and 108. Oracle's also 108. Golden State Warriors is 108. Today's Kawhi Leonard's 108th playoff game. Last game was Steph Curry's 108th playoff game. But I do notice that if the Raptors won today, they'd be 9-3 at home. Oracle Arena's 93. If they lost, they'd be, or excuse me, if they won, okay, am I misspeaking? The Raptors' home record right now, which doesn't matter, but it is. Here. Hold on, let me finish saying this, and then I'm going to your call. The Raptors right now are 9-3 in Toronto. Oracle Arena's 93. If they lose today, or if they win today, they're 5-4 away. If they win, Oracle alone is 54. Just like how the Celtics snapped the record winning streak of the Warriors at 54 games in Oracle. So I'd see a big Oracle tribute, and the NBA Finals did start on a date with 54 numerology. I'd see this big Oracle tribute if the Raptors won. What's up, man?
California is the 31st state.
You're right about that. You're right about that.
And Warriors stay on 36. Friday equals 36. And then we talked about the 63 too, Zach. So they'll be 6-3 with a loss. Friday equals 63. ABC equals 6. So they stay on 6. And they come back at home with the 6.
Tell me how the ABC thing worked out last game.
Because
It didn't work out very well. ABC does have the 21 connection, but you were looking at the 75 and the 6. And I'm just like, I don't know in the finals because most of the games are on ABC.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
I hear you. You've been right about the networks a lot, but I just don't know because the finals, every game's on ABC pretty much.
And then I look at the 6, man, because it's this. It's all about prophecy and God, I'm telling you. Oracle equals 106 feet tall. Prophecy equals 106 and 52. Okay? If you write out 60 equals 52.
Right.
So they're going to stay on the 6th to Friday, man. I could be wrong, man. But.
Well, okay, I see what you're saying. Somebody told me that the owner's name of the Warriors equals 106 too, just like Oakland, California. I said, go figure.
That's crazy, man. And it's all about prophecy every time, man.
Oh, about the 106 thing, the end of the Warriors last game, they stayed on those 106 points for like the final 4 minutes.
Exactly, because they was going back to Oakland.
Right. That's what I was telling right. I was with my dad. I was telling my dad that I was like, this 106 is a huge number with them. That's why they can't score right now. They're trying to make it exciting.
Yeah. So. Yeah, man. It's like sometimes, Zach, man, I mentioned this before. Sometimes, Zach, I really don't even think it's rigged like we think it is. It's because it's the Matrix, man. It's like universal law. Like you can't, you can't cheat numbers. Did that make sense?
Now you sound like my girlfriend. She's always saying the same thing. She's like, it's all just the way the world works. I'm just like, I don't think so. But
no, I think she's right, Zach. I'm for real, man. I see it all the time. It's like,
what about that Spurs series? What about that Spurs series where they didn't play ball at the last 35 seconds and just let their season go down the drain?
Exactly, man. It's just crazy.
That's not the Matrix. That's the rigging because they kept it right at the spread.
Yeah, but I just think a lot of it has to do with the Matrix too, man. I just think it's universal law, man. I'm just telling you.
Well, that Virginia College basketball tournament, I can't explain some of the things that went right for Virginia, who we liked. So.
Yeah, man. So and I think that's why I'm glad you start doing the astrology part of it, because the astrology, that's still the Matrix too. You know what I mean? So it's like all of it correlating together. It's like
right, right. I'm gonna stick with the astrology piece.
Yeah, but yeah, man. I'm just throwing out numbers. I like that the 36, 6 and 3. I like that California's the 31st state. That's big, and it's a lot of 31s. I'm looking right now. As you seeing, as you showing, so I don't know.
The one thing I could say about the Raptors, if they won, they'd be 14-7. And am I mistaken to say a basketball court's 94 feet long? Let me see something.
Yep, 94 feet.
That is how long it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, just when you write out 94, it's 147. Because I just know that's a number that shows up a lot. So.
Mm-hmm. And did you put in Zach? Did you put in Oakland, CA?
I don't think so.
They do that. You remember we saw that? That's very prevalent.
Oakland, CA. Okay, so if what did I just see about 55? Oh, if they split, the Raptors would be 5-5 away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh, wait a minute. Oakland, CA is 62. That the Warriors came into this series 6-2 at home and away. So maybe that's that whole 62.
See? That's what I'm telling you. See?
Yeah.
See how you can foreshadow? There you go. That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, man. It be right in front of our face. That's why we got to do it with baseball, too. It's all about the foreshadow. But that's our secret code. That's what I say. Oh, no, man. It's crazy.
Well, the one thing I can say for the Warriors, though, if they do win tonight, they are 7-2 and Toronto 72. So.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not making no decision on the game. I'm just throwing out stuff, and people can make their own thing. But I think I am going to play the Raptors points. It's plus 4.5, so that's good.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Have a good day.
All right. Take care. All right. Let me call back this guy. He called in a couple times when I was on the phone.
Hey, man.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, you still on, right?
Oh, yeah. We got a ways to go.
Is that Pick's money it just called in?
It sure is.
Yeah, man. He makes a lot of good points and stuff, but nah, man, these leagues are rigged. These guys are told what to do. I'm not saying there might be a few minutes in the game where they're just playing, but guaranteed, like last night would have been a perfect. I don't know if you're watching the Yankees game, right? They were down. The Jays were down. The runner on second base that they reviewed, it's obvious the guy wasn't supposed to get out because he acted like he couldn't hold on to the baseball. So they kept him at second base. The batter up, the count was full. It was a 3-2 count. And the next pitch, Tanaka puts right down the middle, right in his wheelhouse, and he yanks the son of a bitch hard. He just missed it. And I told myself, I'm outside, I'm like, watch. If this next pitch is right in his wheelhouse and he hits it out, he was supposed to do it the pitch before. That's exactly what happened. Same pitch, that boom, left field, man, gone.
Yeah, batting practice.
It's scripted, dude. These guys are just out there acting it. They ain't got nothing to do with a fucking Matrix, man. It's a total script. It's a total act. You know, you can't see it. You know, like the other night where the Seattle shortstop throws the ball through home plate and there's nobody even at home plate.
Right.
I mean, that's not an accident. I don't have shit to do with no fucking Matrix. That's a script.
Right. He should have turned the double play. It was a routine double play. Instead, he just made a dumb throw that everybody knows not to do since Little League and blew the whole game. Yeah.
It's retarded, man. It's retarded.
Yeah.
You know, it's a joke. It's all a joke. But hey, I just sent you a text message. They reported last night, I saw on ESPN where supposedly she was the first female sports writer. She died, right? They were reporting it last night, but she died on May 31st. 73 years old. Sacrificed 73. Rachel sacrificed 73. She's got 257 name Gematria, like blood sacrifice. 257 is the 55th prime. So maybe that's connected to this series.
Well, what I was going to say is that was on a date with 95 numerology if she died May 30. Wait a minute. Hold on. Am I doing my math wrong? Actually, no, never mind. My math's wrong. I take it back. But yeah, 73 during the time of the 73rd NBA season finals. I bet you it is. I'll look more at it.
It's got more to do. It has to have something to do with. And another funny thing too, in reduction, her name, whatever her name is, Leanne, whatever the name is, equals 75, just like it was on a date with 75 numerology when she died.
Huh. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna look more at that. There's something there. That's for sure.
With what they're doing, so I just thought I'd pass that along. I didn't see you did a blog post or anything on it. It's got to be something with this basketball because 73 keeps popping up. And what is it with these games that they split? They can be 7-3 also if they split at Oracle.
Well, just because it's the 73rd NBA season, so I just expect those.
But where does the 7-3 come in if they split with the Raptors?
Oh, the Warriors' home record for the playoffs is 7-3.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know how they don't do that, man. That just seems pretty juicy to me.
Here's how they could not. Here's how they could not do it. Raptors equals 82. Toronto Raptors equals 82. If they beat them both times, they'd be 8-2.
Okay. I like the 73, though. I think that trumps everything else.
I agree because it's been a year of 73. So.
Hey, one other thing, man, before I get off of here. Yesterday, I only had like $75 to play with. I came pretty close to hitting $1,000. I won like $60, but I had Milwaukee, or not who the hell was the team that lost, the Rockies, right? I had them in a parlay. I had the Jays in a parlay, and then I took your best picks. Like I took the Reds, I took the A's, I took the Blue Jays.
Nationals?
No, I didn't mess with the Nationals. Who was the other two I picked? I picked the Dodgers, and unfortunately, I put the Rockies in that parlay. It was like a $21 parlay, would have paid close to $700. It just missed. And the thing was, I took the run and a half too. I took the run and a half with the Rockies. You know, because I knew that was more iffy than the Blue Jays.
Right.
But my point is, you know, it was close. So today, my question to you is, I know who you like, the value pick. I know who you like on those, but just give me your two chalkiest favorites that you like today. Because yesterday it was the A's, you know, and that was a great pick because it came through.
Let me look again real quick.
Yeah, if you had to pick two, because what I do is I kind of mix and match. I mix and match them a little bit. So like yesterday, I felt like if I had one of those underdogs come in, I knew I was going to win yesterday because I was confident about the Dodgers. I figured one of those teams, Dodgers or A's, would also win.
I got to say, I like the break.
Like I said, I just missed $1,000 yesterday. I just missed it.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, if they would have lost by a run, I would have hit it.
That sucks to come that close.
It does, but that's just the way it is, you know, and I knew that was a risky pick. That's why usually when you've got two picks like that, most times one of them's going to come through, and we saw just a few days ago, two of them came through. Both of them did. Both of those underdog picks. Like today, if you take the Rockies today, I think it was, no, maybe it was the Royals. The Royals, if you take the run line on them today, you're still plus 130. So maybe they lose by a run, because oftentimes these the ace pitchers, they're really tight games, right? Because what people will do is they'll go put money on Boston to win by more than a run.
Right.
And that's where Vegas makes their money too, because people will play the run line the other way today with Boston.
Right. Right.
Because they think that's a for sure thing. And, oh, yeah, Boston's going to win. They got their ace on the mound. Maybe they win, but, if you take them to win they only win by a run, you take their run line with the other way, with the Royals, you still get the Royals at plus 130. Because the last I checked, they were like over 200 right now, like plus 2.25.
Yeah, and if it continues that way, the Royals could be a good value pick today.
And I already know what I'm going to do today. I just want your two chalky picks. I want two of those, and then I'm probably going to center around two of the other picks, long shots around that.
Okay, so today's nothing like yesterday. Yesterday, there were some real good picks on the board. Today, I think one of the safer picks is the Braves. I like the Braves getting their 18th away win in their 61st game. So nice. I like that. That'll put them at 34 wins for the season. Pirates is 34. The Blue Jays are my risk pick today, so that's one that you can mess around with. But out of the other games that are on the board, I think the Mets do have a good shot to win 2 in a row, because I'm just looking at how the Giants, if they drop 2 in a row, they're going to get their 18th.
They're on 25, right? The Giants.
They're on 25, right? And if they drop 2, they get to 18 away losses in 61 games. But they got to lose 2 in a row. So
Mets are obviously favored, right? Mets are favored, right?
The Mets are favored today, yeah. And so are the Braves, actually. The Braves are actually favored as well. So.
All right, Mets and Braves. I like that. All right, that gives me something to go off of, man.
Yeah, if I was going to
check out that lady, man, see if there's something to that. Because I don't know if they reported it on May 31st, but last night ESPN brought it up in their telecast.
What's her name again?
I do that sometimes. That woman's name. What the hell? I just sent it to you. Here it is. Her name is Leanne Schreiber. Dies at age 73. First female sports editor at a major American daily newspaper.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to look into it. Yeah, I got her here. All right. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Good work, Zach. Good work, man.
All right. Thanks, dude. You have a good day.
You too, brother. Bye-bye.
And then again, I do like these two games. Today, again, is nothing like yesterday. The riddles just aren't as good today. But I do like the Braves getting that 18th away win in the 61st game. We talked about them getting a 34 in the series. They can do it today. Pirates 34. And I keep looking at this and thinking the Mets or the Giants are going to drop their next 2 to get those 18 away losses in 61 games and then go into their next series, which starts on a 25-date numerology with 25 wins, because Giants is also 25. So that makes sense to me. And then I think the risk-reward games that are worth it today, I like the Blue Jays to get to 23 on the 23-day and snap that Yankees win streak series at 9. 23 is the 9th prime. And Marlins got a shot again today. God, I am mad at myself about yesterday. I shouldn't have dug deep. I should have just went with the surface level riddles like I normally preach. I mean, date numerology is going to take you there. The Marlins had the date numerology riddle yesterday, and they were a great payout. It's just, God, that pitcher for the Brewers, man, his alignment was perfect. So, other risky game today that could be worth a stab, Orioles. Orioles got a real shot. They can stay at 18 away losses in the 61st game. And the Royals, they got the same type of riddle. So, I'm thinking the Orioles or the Royals, one of those two is going to come through. That Royals line is growing. That means more and more money is going on Boston. Again, use the pregame. See where the money is closer to game time, because if it stays like 90+% of the money on the Red Sox, then they could pay out on this because nobody bet on it. So Junis is going for his 23rd win today on the 23-date numerology. That's another crucial thing for the Royals. They got a couple riddles up there. Chris Sale becoming 2-7, though. It's possible. Royals is 27. Caller? Oh, shoot. Hold on. There was 2 calls at the same time, so I couldn't get my button up to get you on speaker. Okay, you should be there now. What's up?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so
All right, so I just want to look at this Texas Rangers game real quick. Texas versus Baltimore. And can you just refresh my memory? Who do you have in this game, Zach?
Okay, so what I said yesterday is the Orioles can either win 2 in a row or lose 2 in a row. And since they won yesterday, winning 2 in a row is now the narrative. And the reason why is they can stay at 18 away losses through 61 games.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm with you on this. Another huge thing, if the Texas Rangers are 20-10 at home right now, they're playing at home. They become 20
and 11. Right, that 11th home loss in the 31st game. Also minor. This will be his 41st start with Texas, which is the 13th prime, and he can get his 13th loss with Texas today too. Baltimore equals 41, the 13th prime. So there's some things lining up nicely for the Orioles today.
Something else that is huge also is so they can become 20-11 like the 47th prime. The Texas Rangers playing Arlington, and the full reduction equals 47.
So does Maryland. Maryland's 47 too, where Baltimore is.
Also, right, exactly. Also, if the Rangers lose today, they'll become 30-29. And their winning percentage will move down from 517 to 0.508, like 58, and Baltimore equals 58 as well.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I've never looked at the percentages like that, but that could be another thing to analyze. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think that's I don't want to say it's obscure or abstract, but that could play in. I mean, I don't know what are the chances that you're playing Baltimore that equal 58 and your winning percentage is going to go to 508. You know, so assuming you win. So yeah, I just wanted to throw the Arlington equals 47 and they become 20-11, like 47 prime, and they can go to 508 like Baltimore.
Very, very good work. Awesome, man.
All right, man. Take care.
All right. You guys are getting really good, man. Appreciate the calls. Just one other thing, when we plugged in all those pitcher numbers, the jersey numbers, what I'm talking about, when we saw the jersey numbers, the only jersey number that was really standing out to me is this Mangden for the Athletics. He wears number 33. He could deal the Angels their 33rd loss today. I just worry slightly about the 30-date numerology because the Angels could pick up number 30, but they do have number 32 on the mound too, maybe to protect the 32. So, okay, let's come back to the NBA here. We've done a lot with baseball. So, NBA playoffs, Warriors are a 4.5-point favorite. Again, Geometry's 45. Steph Curry, Pie Day. What's up, man?
Hey, Zach, I'm not trying to start that, man. I didn't like dude trying to slander me at all. I was listening to the whole thing.
Oh, I don't think he was slandering you. I just think he hates the rigging, and he doesn't think it's organic. He thinks it's totally rigged, and
but it's both. It's both. It's both.
It could be both. There's definitely some rigging going on. There's no doubt about that. Otherwise, Tom Brady and the Patriots aren't doing nothing after the Patriot Act. But
exactly, though. I don't know, man. I felt some kind of way because I help this community so much. Like, I give out all my tricks and stuff. Like, come on, man. Like, I could be selfish and keep it to myself, but I don't. Like, I don't know. I just feel like he comes at me like I'm stupid or something. Like, besides you, I'm the best decoder to call in. I really believe that. Like,
he's not saying you're stupid, man. He didn't mean it that way. And it's not really about you. It's just so I know him personally. He just gets mad because people in his own life are saying there's no way they rigged the game. So that's just where his opinion's coming from.
Yeah. And, just like today, back to what I said, it's just like the Marlins going to lose today. The reason why the Lions minus 260 is because the Marlins going to get their 37th loss. Milwaukee equals 37.
Okay, but they could also pick it up tomorrow too. But yeah, the line is monstrous as it is definitely concerning. If they exit that series with one more loss because they play tomorrow too, then they can exit with 37, the Milwaukee number.
Right. So I guess it's a risk reward play, like you say. So
that's why I said you could bet them 2 days in a row. If you lose today, you could bet them again tomorrow because there's a good chance they stay on that 37 through the series.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So. All right, man. I'm glad you cleared that up because I didn't like that at all.
No, he's just talking about because he's just sick of everybody saying the games aren't rigged. So
Okay. Obviously, I know that, Rick. Me and you talk about how you think we learned from you about Prince, all that. Come on, man.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're all good, man.
All right.
All right. Okay, so the Raptors are on that 71 wins right now, right? That's the other, because there's a until the Warriors lose another game, the possibility of them winning in Game 5 is on the table, and it would make a lot of sense if they did it. 4-1, Oakland's 41. The Raptors would stay at 41 home wins against Oakland and Golden State. Oakland and Golden State both equal 41. So if the Raptors didn't win another game this season, they'd also stay on 71 wins. Toronto Raptors 71, Kawhi River 71. Remember, that's what Drake was wearing 7 months and 1 day after his birthday when they advanced to the finals. So there's a chance the Raptors don't win another game. That said, they do win one more game, they get to 72, right? Toronto 72. They get to one more win after that, 73 wins. And I know a lot of you think the Raptors are going to win this series. Hey, if you think that, go for it. I've been on the Warriors all year. There's no way I'm coming off them. But if this does go to Game 7, if this goes to Game 7, the Raptors will be on 73 wins. And if they lose, they'll stay on 73 in the 73rd NBA season. And the Warriors will pick up their 73rd win to win the finals. So don't forget about the 73. If the Raptors win 74 games, there is a possibility they could win 74, but that doesn't sound right to me in the 73rd NBA season. But the possibility of winning 74 is the NBA Finals began on a 74 date numerology. Oakland, California equals 74. So does Toronto, Ontario. But 73rd NBA season, I just don't see the 74. So I've already been proven wrong, though, twice in the conference finals. I only was halfway right on the conference finals. I had Boston, I had Warriors, but I got the other ones wrong in hockey and NBA. So it's not like I'm exactly doing that great right now in the hockey and NBA playoffs in recent weeks. So there's reason to doubt me, that's for sure. But the rest of the playoffs we've done pretty well. So, okay. The Raptors are 30-19 away. Reason to believe that they could win one game is because Oakland's 31. They'll definitely lose another one, that's for sure. Toronto Raptors is 71, the 20th prime. So that's coming. If they lost two more away, they'd be at 21 away losses, 73, the 21st prime. So it's just tough, man. The numbers are tight. And what else sucks right now is because the two websites we use to track stats, they're in a discrepancy. One says the Warriors are 189 and 156 in the playoffs. The other says they're 189 and 155. But remember, M-Cube stopped keeping track. These websites used to be in sync. Here, I'll put it up here real quick. Golden State. Or wait, maybe I can just see it from right here. This is where it's at. Golden State Warriors. So at the beginning of the NBA playoffs, this was synced up with the other site, but then they didn't track one of the games in the Houston series, and we documented that when it happened. So I think the Warriors really are at 156 losses. And what's interesting about that is today is the 156th day of the year. So if the Warriors didn't lose today, they'd stay on 156 losses in the 156th day of the year. But, you know, the conference finals we just had, the last hockey game, St. Louis could have picked up their 211th playoff loss on the day leaving 211 days left in the year, and they didn't. So, and I said that day, I said that the last few times a riddle like that came up, it hadn't hit. It hadn't hit since San Jose Sharks got their 113th playoff win on the 113th day of the year in the miraculous comeback. But it's still worth observing. Got to keep the notes going. The Raptors are 45 and 57 in the playoffs right now. If they lost both of these, they'd be 45 and 59. Oakland's 58. Warriors is 59. So I'd say at least two more losses are coming for them. They don't have to both be in Oakland, though. The Raptors' next win is 46. Raptors is 46. Del Curry's 46. They're on that 45, the geometry number. Let's see. What's up, man?
Game 3 equals 46.
Yep. Here, I got to go back up to those notes. I skipped that at the beginning. I have that up here at the top. Game 3, 44, 46, 82, 161. So you're saying today they could pick up 46? And I will say this, if the Raptors are going to win one of these two games in Oakland, today is the more likely day, that's for sure.
No, but listen, Zach, listen. So check this out. So they got 57 losses, right? So Oakland equals 131.
When
so
you
they're
write
playing Oakland again. So they're going to stay on 57, Zach, because if you write out 57, it equals 131, which is Oakland.
Okay, but they got to get that 58th loss at some point.
Yeah, it's back to your Game 7 theory, Zach.
Sure. So Game 7 will be in Toronto.
Yeah, but it still will be a tribute for the Warriors.
Yeah, no, I follow that logic. So if Toronto's going to win one of these two games, I'm saying it's tonight. Yeah.
And I think that's why Clay ain't playing.
I agree. It builds that narrative.
Huh?
It sounds like him and Durant are probably going to both come back for the next game.
Yep, and then the theory is going to be that they Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, two most important players on the team. I'm thinking that's going to be the narrative. I don't know.
And does anybody even know how Klay Thompson got hurt? They were quiet about when he exited.
That's what I was saying, Zach. I ain't even see him get hurt. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
So he hit a three-pointer, and then I noticed they took him out of the game, and I thought, that's interesting they took him out. And he wasn't hobbling or anything. But then at the end of the game, what was real comical, if you were watching the end of the game, I only saw the end, so I caught all this right at the end. They went to a shot of Kevin Durant in the hallway, limping around. He was like walking in a circle, limping. I was like, okay, there was a made-for-TV moment. And then a little bit after that, they showed Klay Thompson walking with an ice pack on the back of like his knee area. And I was like, wait a minute, when did he even get hurt? So
Yeah, I like it, man. But that Game 3, that looked good, man. Game 3 equals 46. So.
It also equals 82. And Raptors is 82, and Toronto Raptors is 82. So
that's too much energy, I'm thinking, man. That's too much energy for the Raptors.
Yeah.
And is OG coming back today?
Who?
OG. That's the big time. He's the one of the most important players for the Raptors. He shoots threes. He's like 6'8". He haven't even played.
I don't even know who that is. Who's OG? Who is that?
OG Anano. Oh shit. What is his last name? He's got one of them African names, just like
Siakam. Well,
if you go to the Toronto Raptors roster, because he was shooting around, and they said OG came back last game.
Okay.
And you can look it up. I'm telling you, because I think that might be the secret there, because they're not even talking about it. And if he plays, that's gonna be another X factor. And he goes by OG too.
Okay. I'll look it up. I'm just seeing what this article is that they just put out today. So I guess Kevin Looney is hurt too. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they're building this injury narrative. Just the one thing that they like to do that with that, though, sometimes is they get everybody thinking like, oh, the whole team's banged up. They're done. This is an easy pick today. And they're like, wait, what just happened? How did I just lose on that? They did that with Auburn. Remember, Auburn lost their star player, and then they won and advanced further than they'd ever been in the tournament.
Right. No, and then I want to get off the phone, John. I'm going to let you get off that. But here's the thing now I'm thinking about. Okay, let me answer this question for me. If the Warriors win with Kevin Durant, what is going to be the narrative for him to leave Golden State if he won a championship with them? How is he going to go to the Knicks or go anywhere?
Well, some things are just nonsensical, but I mean, you just never know what they're going to do. So
it's like I'm looking at this. I'm trying to get the theme of because I like Warriors to win, right? But I'm like, the Warriors win a championship with KD. How is he going to leave? That don't make sense.
Money.
Yeah, true.
So he already won on the championship. What more is there? Give me some more money. So.
Yeah, you're right. I guess so.
And he could also go prove something with another team, because people said when he went to the Warriors, well, that was stupid anyway. They were already the best team. Now one of the best players going to the best team. What's that really proving?
Yeah, you're right. So I guess the excuse could be exactly I need my own team. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, let me go take the Knicks from the cellar to the top. So
yeah, I believe that too, man. It'd be Lakers and Knicks all over again. LeBron versus KD.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. All right, man. That's all I wanted to say. Game 3, 46.
And by the way, I just looked at the injury report. It says OG's out for today, but they could update this at game time. So.
Yep. Yeah, keep your eye on him, Zach, because he's crucial.
All right. Yep. Appreciate it.
No.
All right, thanks. Okay, so we still got to go through the PGA tournament today. Where was I at with my notes? Oh, I wanted to make sure I had all my information right. I was working extra early this morning, so I just want to make sure things are right. Sometimes when I'm working too early, I make some errors. Let me see here. Golden State Warriors, Toronto Raptors, all-time 29-18. Is that what I got up here? Where's my stats at? Yeah, okay, we're good. Let me see, 16-6, is that what I got? 16-6, yeah, everything's good. Okay. And I've actually just been keeping track of all this stuff on my own. Actually, I didn't pull this from the site. I just want to make sure there's still an agreement here. So the Warriors are 1-2 versus the Raptors for this season. That was something that caught my eye today. So you can look at this from either team's perspective. The Raptors are 2-1 versus the Warriors, right? Kind of like 21-73, the 21st prime. But from the Warriors' perspective, if they won today, they'd be 2-2, and Oakland is 22. So it is also 31. If the Raptors won, they'd be 3-1. But I don't see a clean read here for today. I am barely favoring the Raptors, but I haven't wiped out the narrative that the Warriors could win in 5 games. So the Father's Day does make more sense to me, but again, there's some rhyme and reason to the 5 games too. Let me see. Okay. Steve Kerr right now, he's 76-25 in the playoffs. You know how last game was his 101st game and 101's the 26th prime, and how 101 just prime numbers period hit? I was thinking about why it didn't. Finals equals 101 and 25, right? So he stayed at 25 losses in his 101st playoff game, you see? So that's why the prime didn't come through there. Steve Curry, he's on 113 career losses right now. Remember, game 1 was so easy to call. It was the whole 30 ritual, 113 is the 30th prime. If he didn't lose another game, he would stay on 113, that big NBA number, the National Basketball Association 113. Today's 251 days after his birthday. That's the 54th prime, Oracle 54. That's another thing giving me some trouble looking at that. Here. Got the Jesuit Order's birthday, September 27th. If the Warriors won today, by the way, they'd be 14-5 in the playoffs. Catholic 145. You know, Curry went to that Catholic school, that Catholic influence in sports. Almost everyone in the NBA went to a Catholic high school or a Catholic college. But 251 days after Kerr's birthday, 54th prime. Oracle 54. So that's another thing that's jumped out to me. Nick Nurse, just like the team's 13-7 in the playoffs, 14-7 is a big number. I don't know if there's a relevance to 138. I couldn't think of one myself. So that's one of the juicier things for Toronto, just getting to 14-7. His upcoming birthday, Nick Nurse, is in 49 days. Warriors 49. So today's 83 days after Steph Curry's birthday, the 23rd prime. I wonder if he scores 23 points today. 23 date numerology. 117 days after Clay's birthday, or his 118th day of his age, that big Bay Area number. He's not playing, though. He's out. It's 93 days after Green's birthday. Oracle Arena 93. I bet you he has a good game today. Durant. Let's see. Caller?
Hey, Zach, it's Charles from San Francisco. Just noticed something the other day, and I'm probably sure you guys talked about it before, but I noticed the last playoff games in NHL and NBA, when the respective teams for the MLB were playing, when Boston scored that game that was 8-5 when the Yankees came back, I noticed the Blues ended up winning respectfully in NHL. And when the A's were playing, they lost 6-4, and that's when Curry and the boys took one on the road and won. But I know the baseball game started a later time today, so I don't know if that pattern is going to continue because of the start times of the games.
I think there's something going on with the Oakland game and the NBA game today. Earlier, I pointed out that today's Oakland's 61st game. Finals equals 61, and it's the first game of the finals in Oakland. So I think there is something going on with these two games.
Right. Only suck thing is that they start later time today, so you can't really get a grasp to see what's going to happen before the finals.
It's going to be one of those just learn days, just observe and see what happens type of thing.
I hear you, man. I might have to just peel off today and just see what happens.
Yeah, but there's definitely got to be a correlation with that. The 61st game for the Athletics on the first day of the finals in Oakland, something's going on there. So.
Gotcha. I'm going to keep putting notes on that.
Yeah.
Right on. Thank you for that, man.
Yep. Welcome.
Appreciate
it. Yep. No problem. Okay. So, yeah, it's too bad it's not an early game because we could probably draw a clue from that, but they're going to be going on at the same time. I'm keeping the track of Del Curry. For Kawhi Leonard, it's 24 days to his upcoming birthday. Remember, Canada's 24. It's the Raptors' 24th season. I guess I should put that note here. And also the Raptors advanced to the finals on number 24's birthday for the Raptors, the guy that was drafted by Milwaukee. His name's Powell. It's Kyle Lowry's 73rd day of his age today. The guy who's been with the Raptors the longest. He used to play in the Western Conference for the Rockets. But there's that magic number, 73. If I was doing fantasy, I'd be expecting him to have a good day today. Sometimes I'm wrong when I say things like that. If Lowry has a god-awful game and the Warriors win, just remember that. Because he could be the reason the Warriors won if he just came out and played terrible. But he doesn't really play. I can't think of this guy playing terrible. He's kind of just like, if I thought sports were legitimate, I'd be a fan of this guy. I'd be like, yeah, he's money in the bank. He's ice water. But anyway, it is his 73rd day of his age. It's also 72 days after his birthday. Toronto's 72. I guess I should make a note about that. So he's got a nice lineman. Van Fleet, he didn't have the magnets on for him last game. He was finally missing some shots. Ever since he had his child born in the last round of the playoffs, he'd been like, I think he was like 47 for 47 from three-point land. At least it seemed that way. But it's his 101st day of his age. Finals is 101. Siakam, for Siakam, it's his 65th day of his age, and it's June 5th. But yeah, I'm not crazy about this game. Just like I said when I started, there's some riddles both ways. I think if they are going to split in Oakland, which is probably the most likely scenario, I think tonight is probably the night that Toronto wins. Again, you have the players injured. They have some nice numerical alignments with their players. But in the back of my mind, I keep going, but man, Warriors can get to 7-2 tonight. Toronto 72. They can get to 2-2 for the season. Oakland 22. So I'm not thrilled about tonight's game. The only game I've liked so far is Game 1. Game 1 just had a clear all-day riddle. I only like to make a bet when I see a clear riddle. So that's me. What else can I say here about today and tomorrow? I don't see that alignment with the records. Let me double check. And make sure I'm not missing something here. Well, actually, there is something I can say about that. The Raptors' next playoff loss is their 32nd, and the next game is on a date with 32 numerology. So that would also make sense with regards to the Raptors picking up their next playoff loss. If they did win today, they could hold off until loss 32 Let me make a note here. If Raptors win game 3, they can get 30-second loss in game 4. So there's that. And what are the Warriors at again for the season? There's also this about game 3, just how it has that 46-82 connection. Those are Raptors numbers. So remember, I would also use pregame. I think if money gets too far one way, it can always help you out with deciding what to do with a spread if you're torn on a game. And let's just look now, but realize this can change a ton by game time. So this is right now 59% of the money's on the Raptors. So, and we already know why that is, because the bettors are thinking, well, Durant's out and Klay Thompson. You're missing half the Splash Brothers. So see what it is by game time. If it gets lopsided heavy for the Raptors, I bet you the Warriors. No. I'm not going to finish what I was going to say. But if it gets heavy for the Raptors, I would think twice about betting them. Because, again, these injuries, they could be the betting trap. You never know. Steph Curry could come out and score 73 points. So he could be shooting it from half court, making you pull your hair out. But if the money stays like how it is, maybe take the Raptors to cover. So if Toronto's going to win 1 or 2, which again is the most likely scenario, it does make more sense tonight, especially looking at the date numerology ahead. So I am conflicted, but I'm kind of leaning towards Toronto. Warriors win tonight. That's going to make it's going to make next game trickier to call. So if Raptors win tonight, I think Warriors are a easy call for the next game. So I'll just say that. Let's also go on to the PGA tournament. That's something we started doing in recent weeks. Everybody wanted me to do the PGA, and so we're doing it. Okay, let me pull up my thread. I posted it. You guys should be able to look at this thread. I posted it before the live stream. But today with the leaderboard, I didn't see last week. So what did we learn last week? Last week we saw that Spieth had a perfect alignment for the first day of the tournament, and he had a great first day. And as we documented day after day, we saw that everyone who had a connection to Memorial in their name did well. Day after day, the person at the top of the leaderboard had a connection to the word Memorial, and rather than just the whole name of the tournament. So I'm thinking if there's a key word for this tournament, it's Canada. It's the Canadian Open. And last week, Cantlay won, and Cantlay had the connection to Memorial as well. So here, let me show you what I'm seeing today. I checked the gematria of the Canadian Open, RBC Canadian Open. These are all things that it's referred to as. The Canadian Open, or the RBC Canadian Open, begins June 6th this year, 6-6, and in the most pair cipher, it's 6-6. So we're going to get to a golfer who has a real nice 66 connection. The Canadian name for this sums to 67, also like the Canadian Open. So 66, 67. We're going to get to a golfer that has a connection to both. With regards to Canada possibly being the key word, there's these numbers. So this began 115 years ago. It begins on a date with 24 numerology. Canada 24. Remember, Toronto, the Canadian team in their 24th season, just advanced to the finals by the numbers on number 24's birthday. The tournament ends June 9th, which is the 160th day of the year. There's a real interesting golfer with a 160 connection. We'll get to that. It's going to end on a date numerology 5427. The favorites are Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, Kuchar, Garcia, Simpson, Piercy, Snedeker, Watson, Stenson, Lowry, Colley, Duffner, Furyk. When I saw the Lowry, I thought, that's like the Toronto Raptors player. And this tournament is in Ontario. That's one thing I forgot to look at was the Gematria of Hamilton, Ontario. But I think it's more about the tournament name. Well, yeah. Be one more thing to consider. I'll update these notes later. Hamilton, Ontario. That Ontario 97 is important because I got a riddle with 97 up here. Canadian Open's 97. So okay, that 97's popping because that was already a number I was looking at. Okay. So I got all the gematria up here, and just to simplify this, the Canadian Open equals 67 and 77. So does Sergio Garcia. He's the one guy that has a double connection in his name. RBC Canadian Open 120, Bubba Watson 120. The Canadian Open 130, Shane Lowry 130. The tournament ends on the 160th day of the year. Webb Simpson is 160, and he's got something else going on as we'll get to. So I got my eye on Webb Simpson. Scott Piercy also equals 54. The tournament ends on a date with 54 numerology. Justin Thomas, the tournament will begin on his 39th day of his age. Canada's 39. He's one of the top favorites. So I'm thinking, could Justin Thomas have a nice first day? He kind of has like that Jordan Spieth alignment in the last one. Maybe he's up at the top of the leaderboard after day one. You know, Canada. And you know what? 38 days after, I was sleeping on that, Ontario's 38. So 38 days after his birthday or his 39th day of his age. So I could add Ontario right there to the notes. So Justin Thomas, I could see him having a good first day. Sergio Garcia, who has the double name connection, he's 39 years old this year for this tournament. So Sergio, it seems to me it'd make a lot of sense if he placed this year, being 39 years old. This Simpson guy, the guy who has the 160 name, and the tournament ends on the 160th day of the year. He's 33 years old, and the tournament's going to begin on his 303rd day of his age. And plus Simpson equals 33. So I'm thinking, okay, that's quite an alignment for the 33-year-old. He's a guy to definitely keep an eye on. Stenson. The tournament will end on his 66th day of his age. Stenson. He's, oh, by the way, this Simpson and Garcia, who are both eye poppers to me, look at their odds, 24-1. Canada's 24. And the tournament begins on a 24 date. So they would be great payouts, these guys. Betting them to place probably pays pretty well, too. So that stood out to me that they're 24-1. But with regards to Stenson, he's a real long shot. And, you know, he's a veteran. The tournament is going to – okay, so that's the other thing I meant to say. The tournament begins on his 63rd day of his age. Henrik Stenson equals 63, and then it ends on his 66th day of his age. And again, RBC Canadian Open 66. It begins on June 6th. So Stenson, he'd be a nice payout. What else did I have up here? This Lowry guy, I was just thinking about, you know, Canada, they're in the NBA Finals. Their veteran is Lowry. The tournament's going to begin on his 66th day of his age as well. And also 65 days after his birthday. And RBC Canadian Open against 66, Canadian Open 65. So I just wonder if there could be some cross-sport riddle there. Out of the leaderboard, those were the things that popped to me the most. This Duffner guy, he's 42 years old. The tournament begins 74 days after his birthday. There's just a relationship with 42 and 74. They're both big Freemason numbers. When you write out 42, it's 74. With regards to the career stats, Johnson, who's the favorite, his next top 10 finish is his 97th, Canadian Open's 97, and also Ontario's 97. So I got to think he's finishing top 10. If there's a bet for Dustin Johnson to finish top 10, I'm taking it. And this Simpson dude, the guy who's 33 years old, and the tournament begins on his 303rd day of his age, and it ends on the 160th day. What I saw for him is his next career win is his 6th. And again, the tournament begins on 6-6, and it equals 66. I must have done a typo here. Caller?
Zach,
Yes.
how you doing? Listen, I was just looking at the series records. I don't know if you noticed this, but I was looking at how the Warriors are 29 and 18 against the Raptors all time, and today's a date with 30, correct?
That is right. Today has the lesser date numerology of 30. It sure does.
Yeah, so they're going for. It's kind of funny because that kind of scares me now because the Warriors are sitting on 30 losses. That means they're going for their 30th win against the Raptors all time on a 30 date, and all this talk about Steph Curry, like you said, you know, those injuries could be a trap. And what if just Steph Curry goes off game 3? Like.
Exactly. Number 30. I'm really glad that you made that point because, again, the Warriors could stay at 30 losses. The Raptors could stay at 30 away wins, and they could pick up their 30th loss of the season. So.
I also noticed that you said, what was with the number 61 today? NBA Finals equals 61? Or what is that? What's the connection with the 61?
The word finals alone with the alphabetic order is 61. And today's the Oakland Athletics 61st game of the season.
And it's funny because the Warriors are sitting on 18 losses against the Raptors all time, so 61 to 18 points. So it's right there. I don't know.
You're right about that. You're right about that. I was sleeping on the 30. That's huge, man, because, yeah, you're right. That's Del Curry and Steph Curry's number. Yep.
So that's all I wanted to just point out.
Well, I'm really glad you called. You could be a lifesaver there. So great work.
Thank you. You're the best. Right. Thank you.
Take care, man. Well, if I was the best, I would have talked about the 30 thing already. That's why I appreciate you guys. And, yeah. So, again, I'm not crazy about today's game. I mean, you got to go with your gut if you want to bet this thing. But because, I mean, if the Warriors win today and they're 7-2, because, see, that's the way they can really screw with bettors' heads, right? Imagine the Warriors win today. And then they get healthy. Their players come back next game. Everyone's like, okay, it's done. I'm betting the Warriors today. And then they lose. People be like, what is going on, man? Like, and that's what they do. That's how they win. That's how the casinos, you know, they're billion-dollar empires. So I'd follow the money today if you're going to bet. If it gets crazy on the Raptors, I wouldn't be surprised about the Steph Curry show. So but yeah, those 30s are there. Those 30s are there. He's right about it. Let's just go through it one more time with the 30s, and then I'll come back and finish my thoughts on this golf tournament. And again, I'm going to do the same thing as last week. I'm just going to keep doing an update each day on golf because it's not, you know, golf's not something I do very much. I saw the Tiger Masters riddle last August. It was like just staring me in the face. That doesn't make me an expert at decoding golf. It's just the Tiger riddle was so obvious. So anyway, the Warriors could stay on 30 losses. Okay, that's 130. The Warriors can stay on 30 losses for the season. The Raptors can stay on 30 wins, 30 away wins for the season. And the other one was the Warriors could get their 30th all-time win against the Raptors. Caller?
Hey, Zach. So I don't know if any other listeners or any other viewers have had any problems, but I've been having like problems in the last like 5 to 10 minutes with the Patreon app watching the live stream.
What's it doing?
So I have to keep reopening the app. I'm watching it off the app, right? And I was watching it on my TV, and then it was messing up on my TV. So it's basically kicking me back to the beginning of the live stream, like to the very beginning when you were talking about the Mets game, right? So then I would take the bar, bring it all the way to live, and it would stream for about maybe 25 seconds, 30 seconds, and then kick me right back to the beginning. So like I can't watch the live stream to where you're at right now.
Well, here, while you're on the phone, let me just tell you, there was just a big observation in the NBA Finals by a caller. It could be, is your internet slow right now? Sometimes it'll do that if your internet.
No. I'm on my AT&T phone. I got good internet. I also got good Wi-Fi here at my house. So
have you ever had that happen before?
No, it just started happening right when you started talking about the golf tournament.
Weird.
It's like they don't want us watching what you're decoding in the golf tournament. I don't know.
Weird. Did you hear what the caller just said about 30 in tonight's NBA Finals game?
No, it kept kicking me back to the beginning of the live stream. So then I would have to take the bar at the bottom of the screen, move it to the live, and then I'd watch it for like 5 or 10 seconds, and then it would kick me back to the beginning.
Okay, yeah, that's bizarre.
I don't know if it's just me, just my connection, but I have not been able to watch the live stream and stream it to where you're at in the moment.
Okay, well, I'm almost done for today. Call me back if you have a problem, but I want you to know what the caller just said about the finals. Today has the lesser date numerology of 30, and remember, 30 was the riddle in game one because Steph Curry wears 30, Dell Curry wore 30. If the Warriors won today, they would get their 30th all-time win against the Raptors. The Raptors would stay at 30 away wins on the season, and the Warriors would stay at 30 losses for the season. So now I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, man, that could be it. But I'm still torn on today's game. I don't like it as much as the game one riddle, but just that's something everybody needs to see and think about, that 30 that lines up that way. So all right. Yeah, and I'm about to finish, so you should be able to watch the end of the golf tournament. There are some – plus, I have those – I'm going to update those notes. I just realized something in the live stream, but
and then are you putting in picks for like top 10 finishes, top 20 finishes?
Hey, I'm betting Dustin. I'm betting the top guy to finish in the top 10. I think that pick is. I think that's coming through. I don't think he's going to win the tournament. He could, but I think he'll definitely finish in the top.
I think it's really hard to predict and pick who the actual winner is when there's so many options like this.
Exactly.
That are really good. So I think maybe what we should focus on with golf is like the top 20, top 10 finishes.
Johnson. If Johnson doesn't finish in the top 10, I'll die because Canadian Open equals 97. So does Ontario, and his next top 10 finish.
Dustin Johnson.
Yeah, his next top 10 finish is number 97. He's got to do it in this tournament.
So that's like for sure right there.
And two other guys that I like are the two guys with 24-1 odds because Canada equals 24.
Who's that?
Sergio Garcia is 39 years old. Canada also equals 39. Plus his name equals 67 and 77. So does the Canadian Open. So his name's just like the Canadian Open. And then the other guy who is what did I just say? Oh, the other guy who's 24-1, his name equals 160, and the tournament ends on the 160th day of the year. Plus he has a real interesting alignment with his 33rd birthday. The tournament starts on his 303rd day of his age of 33, and his name equals 33. So I'm thinking those guys.
What I noticed with that the last golf tournament last weekend was that the guys who had the date numerology in their name on that last day, they did finish in that top 10.
Yep. And the key word was crucial. Everybody who had a connection to Memorial did well and finished up at the top, and Cantlay equaled the same as Memorial. So I'm thinking the key word here is Canada.
Yeah.
So,
all right, man. Right on.
If you're taking one bet, take Dustin Johnson to finish in the top 10. I will be shocked if that doesn't happen. So,
all right, dude.
All right, appreciate it.
Later.
All right, you guys, let's wrap it up. I want to get the review video out before too many games start, and I think we were real thorough today with all the calls. So I will get that review video out ASAP. There's a couple of games that I think one's about to start. But let me just wrap it up and get out the review video ASAP so people can get a stab at these better picks. And remember, watch the money on the pregame. I'm telling you, I think I know we're split on that as a community, but I think when the money gets too much a certain way, I think it should weigh on your decision for how you lay your coins down. So we'll leave it there. Be back tomorrow, same time. Good luck.